Batting 8, the designated hitter, number 6, Whit Reniger. And batting 9th, in right field, number 9, Brooks Poteet. And the shortstop for the Wildcats is number 1, Noah Wood. The Wildcats are coached by Travis Free, Kevin McKeithen, Jeremiah Ball, and Kyle Gary.
Joe's pitching, I assume.
Huh?
Yeah.
Joe's pitching?
Yes. Okay.
Here's the starting lineup for your Farragut Admirals.
Not mine.
Leading off, the catcher, number 33, Jake Harris.
Jake Karen?
Batting second, in right field, number 8, Aiden Flagg.
What's up, man?
Batting third, in left field, number 26, Dayland Williams. At cleanup, the designated hitter, number 22, Travis Brummett Jr. Batting fifth, in center field, number 9, Zane Qureshi Smith.
You want me to do the starting?
Batting sixth, at second base, number 4.
Hello again, everybody. David Clary, James Branson here at Farragut, the ballpark at Farragut, getting set for the second ball game of the District 4 tournament for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge taking on the Farragut Admirals in the winner's bracket. The winner will move on to the championship ball game. And more importantly, James, have a regional berth to the regional tournament as the two teams are warming up in front of us. I believe you have the starting lineups for today's ball game.
The pitcher for the Admirals is number 2.
Thank you, David. We'll start with Farragut's starting lineup.
The Admirals are coached by Garrett Copeland and assistant Bill Ning. Dave Roberts.
Starting for them, batting first will be their catcher, number 33, Jake Harris. Batting second will be their center or their right fielder, number 8, Aiden Flagg. Batting third will be their left fielder, number 26, Neelan Williams. Batting fourth, their designated hitter will be Travis Brummett Jr. He is number 22. Batting fifth, the center fielder, Zane Qureshi Smith. Batting sixth will be Mason Shelton, the second baseman. Batting seventh will be Cole Kreisman, the third baseman for Farragut. Batting eighth will be the first baseman, Caleb Van Lant. And rounding out the lineup for the Admirals will be the shortstop, Braxton Ty. On the mound today for Farragut will be Cash Schroeder. And now for the starting lineups for Oak Ridge. In center field will be number 4, Warren East. He will be batting first. Batting second will be Parker Free, number 2, the catcher. Batting third, Mikey Teasley will return to third base and bat third. Batting fourth will be the pitcher today, number 24, Joe Webb. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, number 5, Carson Fagan. Batting sixth will be Jaden Cheverton. He will be playing second base today. Batting seventh will be the first baseman, number 23, Cam Welch. Batting eighth will be the designated hitter, number 6, Whit Reniger. And batting ninth will be the right fielder, number 9, Brooks Poteet. Whit will be hitting for the shortstop today, which will be number 1, Noah Wood.
Thanks a lot, James. It's been a while since you and I did a ball game. We did several home baseball games maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but in terms of just doing a game this year, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's maybe a basketball game at some point or within the past years, but it is nice to be back behind the desk here with you, David, and talking about this fantastic Oak Ridge baseball team.
Yeah, it's a big game for the Wildcats, obviously, a big game for Farragut. The winner advances to the regional tournament and the championship ball game, and awaiting the winner of the loser's bracket. If you lose the ball game, you've got to play on Monday, and there'll be a game after this. I don't know if it's Hardin Valley and McMinn County or but there's a game right after this ball game.
I believe it's Bearden, who we defeated last night, and Hardin Valley.
The Wildcats come into this game, obviously a great season, as you said, 28-7-1. The Wildcats last night knocking off the Bearden Bulldogs 3-1 in a very tense ball game. James, I know Bearden's a really good team. I mean, I was talking with somebody this morning. District 4 might be the toughest district by far in East Tennessee, and maybe one of the toughest in the state of Tennessee. You got teams like Oak Ridge and Farragut, obviously top 5 teams in the state. Hardin Valley, who beat Oak Ridge earlier. McMinn County's not a bad team either, and so whoever makes it out to get to the region, they're going to be, in my opinion, the favorite. The other district, got some good teams too, Halls, West, and those teams, but I think this might be the toughest district in East Tennessee.
Yeah, David, you mentioned that last night's game, Oak Ridge was able to work out of a lot of situations by, everybody was stepping up at one point. Carson Fagan out in left field made an amazing sliding catch to save a couple runs there. And at one point the Wildcats had the bases loaded, the Bulldogs had the bases loaded and the Wildcats were able to work out of that. So I would not be surprised to see a tough game out of whoever comes out of the losers bracket or whoever ends up playing on Monday. As you said, it's a tough district. One of the points that makes it really easy, if you win the first 2 games, as you said, you're already in the region, but you save some of your pitching. Now, the Wildcats have a really good pitching staff overall, but being able to save some of those guys and pitch fewer games is going to be key for whoever wins this game.
Going to have to turn off the sound just for a second here. We've got the 3-camera operation, but there's only 2 of us here, and James is going to be doing all kinds of things. He even has a camera to operate to his right. He's got the scoreboard. He's got the switching of the cameras. He's keeping up the stats, and he's going to talk. Are you excited about that?
A little bit of grace is what I would be asking for. But honestly, it's not much different from what we do in the press box just about every other game, David.
Let's take a break here. Our sponsors for today, we'd like to thank Ed Hudson. He is the individual sponsor for the game today. Ed has paid the TSSAA fee, and we appreciate him. His grandson, Andy Hudson, on the team and has several grandkids, and his son's played ball at Oak Ridge years ago, so we really appreciate Ed Hudson. Our other sponsors, we have Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989, and they encourage other classes to get involved as well. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Todd Fox and the Fox Insurance Group, East Tennessee Spine and Sport, Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty, and of course the Fagan family and the Haddock family in Texas. We appreciate all of them. We're on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. My name is David Clary. It's Oak Ridge and Farragut here at the District 4 tournament. Not an elimination ball game, but a very big ball game for both teams. We're going to turn off the mic here for a second. We'll be back to Farragut with the first pitch, Oak Ridge and Farragut, and the national anthem in a moment.
Remember all those that served with honor, bravery, and distinction both at home and all around the world. As you are able, would everyone please rise? Gentlemen, remove your hats for our national anthem.
Our national anthem here from Farragut High School, getting set for Wildcat baseball. The Wildcats knocked off the Admirals the last time we were here, just a week or two ago. Wildcats won that game 11-4. Winning pitcher in that ball game was Mikey Teasley. The Wildcats lost the previous Monday to the Farragut Admirals 5-4. Cam Welch suffered the loss in that ball game, but the last game the Wildcats jumped on them pretty early, James, and really never looked back, and Mikey was on his game. Farragut's got a good hitting lineup. Joe Webb will be the pitcher today, and he'll be facing that lineup. The ballpark dimensions are small in right field. 310 is it down the line in right field. 385 to dead center. I believe it's 310 to left. I can't honestly see, but looking forward to the ball game. This is our third trip to Farragut, and this year, second time to play the Admirals. Looking forward to the ball game.
Absolutely, David. You mentioned the first game at Oak Ridge where Farragut won 5-4. Some of the key people in that game, you had Travis Brummett Jr. on the mound for Farragut that game. He pitched, I believe, 6 innings. And then also you had, I believe, Aiden Flagg had a big game, and Zane Qureshi-Smith had a big game for them, which kind of kept a couple of those innings going at the Oak Ridge game. And one thing to note, number 26, Neelan Williams for Farragut in left field, he got hit in the head, if you'll remember, at that game, and had a sub come in, so that kind of affected them. I believe he played in the game at Farragut, so Wildcats have faced him, but just a little bit, not as much as they possibly could have.
Good turnout of fans as usual. It's always interesting to see here at Farragut. They've got some nice stands right directly behind the plate, but most of the fans, including some Oak Ridge fans, are up on the hill, which is to our right, and they're spread out really basically from home plate all the way down, almost halfway down the line in right field.
Yeah, David, it's a really nice park. A lot of space here. It kind of bodes well if you have big crowds that come to these games, and hopefully the Wildcats, who will bat first here, get it started and going pretty early, like you said in the second game earlier this season.
So here we go. Warren East is going to lead things off for the Wildcats, and I know I told James has never worked the switcher before, and hopefully we'll get another win, and the Wildcats will start things off. Warren had a good night last night. I believe he was 3 for 3 in the ball game. Right-handed hitting junior. We're about to get this District 4 tournament game underway from Farragut. Righty versus righty. The first pitch of the game is evidently a little high, maybe a little outside. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. On our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, tell your friends and neighbors we're on the air this early morning ball game. Pitch to Warren. That's way up high. 2 balls and no strikes. I forgot to tell you, James, too, the sun it's hard to see the scoreboard and the switcher.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. I'm having to use my hat here to block some things, but pretty nice little setup we have, David.
Right-handed hitter, 2 balls and no strikes. Warren back in. Sign the pitch. That's up high, ball 3. Three balls and no strikes. Warren trying to be the first base runner of the ball game. The pitch to him. There's a called strike on the inner half of the plate at the knees, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Farragut, obviously the tradition. Wildcat fans know about them. All those state championships. They've won 4 in a row, I do believe. Warren back in. 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitch to him. Cut on a miss. Light fastball there, James, and the count is full.
Seems a little tight here to start. Some of those first couple of pitches might have been just barely high, but Warren having to battle here with a full count on him.
Just underway. Nobody on, nobody out. Warren East, the leadoff man for the Wildcats. A 3-2 count to him. Pitch. Cut on a miss. And that is a swinging strikeout. Might have been a little high. Went high and went up for it and couldn't catch up to it, and that's out number 1 here in the first.
Yeah, Warren had to battle back there. The pitcher did a good job of catching up to him. That would be Schroeder. He gets his first K of the game. Stepping in now is Parker Free, the catcher, who is looking to have a bounce-back night from last night.
I believe he was 0 for 4 in the ballgame, did knock in a run with the ground out. I was telling James last night after the ballgame. Pitch to Parker. Typically when Parker has a game, and he doesn't have many, games where he goes like 0 for 4, but typically he goes 5 for 5 the next ball game. Then it wouldn't surprise me if he had a big day today. Wildcat fans hoping so. Parker behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. That one's up high and inside, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, absolutely. Parker's kind of got that mentality of bouncing back and working to get back to being a productive member of the team, and batting second, he is going to have a lot of opportunities today.
Foul tip back to the screen, and the count is 1-2. Mikey Teasley's on deck. Mikey got the win yesterday in the victory over the Bearden Bulldogs in their first round ball game. Hit a solo home run, which was some added insurance. It was a 2-1 ball game at that point. Wildcats held on and won. Carson Fagan got a save. Retired the only batter he faced. Parker back in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another strikeout, another pitch up in the strike zone, and that's back-to-back Ks for the Admiral pitcher, and here comes Mikey Teasley.
As you mentioned, David, as Parker struck out there, some of those pitches are kind of right on the border, so it's tough for those hitters to read. You know, we're kind of sitting right at eye level with them, and those balls, or even the ones that are called balls, are kind of close to the zone.
Mikey steps in, right-handed hitter. Pitch to the plate. Inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1.
Haven't personally seen Schroeder pitch, but he's got a little bit of speed on his arm there, David.
He's got a lot of speed. He is popping the mitt good. 1 strike the count to Mikey. Pitch to him. That's up high, held off. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Travis Freeze, the head coach of the Wildcats. He's in the third base coaching box. Down at first, you've got Kevin McKeithen, the former Wildcat. Teasley back in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch is on the inside half of the plate at the knees. And Mikey behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 2 outs in the top of the first here at Farragut.
Farragut there did a nice job of kind of snapping it back into the zone to kind of be able to frame that pitch there.
Pitch, hit foul. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Today's pitcher, Joseph Webb, he's on deck for the Wildcats. Mikey's going to have to get on base somehow. Thank you for tuning us in. We appreciate Ed Hudson, who's our individual game sponsor for this ball game today. TSSAA, they charge the $200 blood money for us to broadcast these tournament games. 1-2 pitch. Mikey swings and misses. And a good start for the Admiral pitcher. 3 up and 3 down, 3 strikeouts. Wildcats fail to score, fail to reach base. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. The Wildcats and Farragut Admirals in the district tournament. Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, one of our sponsors, of course, along with the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989. You can look down at the bottom part of your screen and see those rotating ads there. We would appreciate you. Give them a call, do business with them. As Alex said last night, buy local, and we appreciate all of the sponsors we have. Of course, the class of 89, I don't know what you can do with them. All he wants is for people, other classes besides the class of 89, to get involved. And, Chris has done a great job. James, you can look at the pavilion there on Kentucky Avenue that he's built. A little picnic area, an area. It's, they paid for that, and it's really nice. And he's looking to do other things at Blankenship Field and maybe even at Bobby Hopkins.
Yeah, we appreciate everything that Chris does, and he kind of heads up that program and does a lot for all of our programs at the high school, so we appreciate him very much. Coming to the plate here for Farragut in the bottom of the first inning will be Jake Harris, Aiden Flagg, and Neelan Williams are the ones due up.
Farragut has won state championships consecutively in 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Never count the Admirals out. I remember people telling me that Farragut was not the same Farragut that they have been, but I disagree with that. You look at that dugout there, there's some men over there. I mean, look at our team. We've got some okay-sized guys, but for the most part, we got typical Oak Ridge kids. You look over there, they look like grown men.
They always kind of, about this time of year, regardless of what their record is or how they've been performing, you kind of, in their program, learn how to turn it on and get better as the season goes on. And they did that last year.
Defensively for the Wildcats, Parker Free is the catcher. The infield, Brooks Poteet is in right field. The center fielder is Warren East. Carson Fagan's in left. The third baseman is Mikey Teasley. The second baseman, Jaden Sheverton. The shortstop is Noah Wood. Camden Welch is at first base. Whit Reniger is the designated hitter, but our pitcher is Joseph Webb.
All right, guys, go to work now. Go to work.
Joe is 5-1 on the season, and his first pitch is hit foul off the screen. And I can just tell you this, James, and I know he's one of your football guys, but if Dylan Woody was sitting here right now, he would have ducked on that foul ball. That's what he does. I mean, he's been to like 25 baseball games, still ducks when it hits the net. That came right back at us. No balls and one strike. Wildcats wearing their Cardinal jerseys with gray pants. Farragut in their blue and silver pinstripes. That pitch bounced to the plate, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Jake Harris is the catcher for the Admirals. Hasn't batted yet. Obviously, bottom of the first inning.
Pitch is just a little outside, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. The last time Joe picked up a victory on the mound, you have to go back to the Ray County ball game several weeks ago. Pitch to the plate, a little inside, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Wildcats the runner-up in District 4. Farragut the champions. Beat Oak Ridge by 1 game. That lost to Hardin Valley. Big key. Pitch is hit in the air. Foul territory. Carson Fagan looking at it. And Carson makes the catch for out number 1. The ball was hit foul off in the territory, but just enough room for Carson to make the play. 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, Carson was able to range over there near the foul line and well struck just kind of off the end of the bat there, as who is batting for Farragut will be the right fielder, number 8, Aiden Flagg.
Right-handed hitter. Meant to bring the book from the first game, first 2 games with Farragut. I probably have it someplace, but I know the Wildcats jumped on them early the last time we were here in the other game. Wildcats kind of rallied, didn't quite catch up. There's a called strike, and Joe has an even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. More and more fans continue to file in. I see Mike Kelly with Bessie Coleman Realty, one of our sponsors in the house, as he always is. That ball hit back over towards the field house to our right and out of play.
David, you mentioned Joe. The last one that he picked up was against Ray County. One thing to understand, that was a couple weeks ago, but it was because Wildcats have played several tournament games and Joe hasn't pitched as much.
Ball hit on the ground. Mikey's got it. He has time, throws on the first in time for out number 2. It's always good to have Mikey. Whenever Mikey pitches, Joe Webb plays third base, and he's solid. But Mikey, I think Mikey likes to show off his arm. Even though he threw almost 110 pitches last night, he likes to kind of crow step and then fire one across the diamond.
Absolutely, and you mentioned Joe kind of playing one of the corner infielders, whether it's third base or first base. When Camden wasn't starting, it was first base for a while. And we had Max Derigi in, some at third base. Batting now for the Admirals, number 26, the left fielder, Neelan Williams.
It's funny. I'm listening to you. You're so used to doing the PA. You're starting to say it like you say it on the PA, and you stop yourself like mid first name. Ball hit to left field. Carson Fagan. Then a couple steps. He's got it for out number 3. So 3 up and 3 down for both teams. We go to the second inning. Live here at Farragut High School, the District 4 tournament, in a game you're listening to and watching on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate James Branson for joining us here. James normally does the public address at Bobby Hopkins, and I don't know, have you been to any away games yet?
I have not been to any away games yet, and it's funny you mentioned saying it like on the PA as Mikey fielded that last ball on the infield and threw to first. In my mind, I was thinking how I say his name over the PA.
Mikey Teasley with that's kind of how you say it. A little
usually,
different.
Yeah.
Good inning for both pitchers. A very impressive inning for the Admiral pitcher, striking out the 3 Wildcats at the top of the order: Warren East, Parker Free, and Mikey Teasley. That doesn't happen very often.
Does not, especially with those three there starting at the top of the lineup. Now, I will say one of the things I think we were talking on the way over here, Carson Fagan has had a really good senior year and really kind of come on here toward the end of the season, back half of the season. Brooks Poteet seemed to be getting hot a little bit the last couple of games, and Jaden Cheverton kind of filling in that role a little bit more, either as a designated hitter, a pitcher, or one of the middle infielders. But due up for the Wildcats will be Joe Webb, Carson Fagan, and Jaden Cheverton.
And here we go. Joseph's going to jump in. He's a junior. We've talked about this before. He is a Vanderbilt commit, and he steps in. Good job getting out of the first inning. Right-handed hitter. He'll be followed by Carson Fagan. Appreciate the grandparents down in Amarillo, Texas. We'll be checking along a little bit later on in our stream to see where you are watching from. Typically the same people, but we still like to get you on the air. Early morning baseball. The pitch is down low a ball, and we're underway here in the second inning. This is our second 10 o'clock ball game we've had at Farragut this year. Pitch to Joe is on the inside half of the plate at the knees, and then that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Is it hard to see?
I'm not exactly used to the scoreboard yet, David. We'll get there, though.
Nobody on, nobody out. We're in the second inning. 1-1 pitch to Joe. Breaking pitch, hit at the plate, foul, and the count is 1-2. Brummett, I think, pitched the last time we were here. And I don't remember who pitched at the Oak Ridge game.
The Oak Ridge game was Brummett.
Okay, so
and whoever
right.
it could be Schroeder that pitched here last game.
Yeah, it looks different. We had like 5 pitchers in that game.
Yeah. Schroeder is not necessarily as tall. If you look at Brummett, who is currently,
he looks like he could play line.
Yeah, he's a really big kid. He's their designated hitter tonight. He kind of commands a presence on the mound out there. Schroeder is. It's kind of interesting looking at him. He's not necessarily as big, but he's got the pop in his arm.
Little pitch comm issue with the catcher for the Farragut Admirals, so there's a delay in the ball game while they kind of work on that, maybe a battery issue. It's just so interesting to me that how high school has that now. I mean, years ago, you did the odd signals from third base, and now you've got the armband, and the pitchers and the catchers are relayed the pitch through the electronic system, and sooner or later this umpire behind the plate will be obsolete. They'll get the system they have in the major leagues too.
ABS.
Exactly. Do you like that anyway?
I don't mind it as much as I thought I would. I like that it's up to 2, and then you don't lose them if you win. For some umpires like CB Buckner, I definitely don't mind it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Joe. Pitch. Ball hit on the ground, left field, fielded by the shortstop, then he boots it. And the Wildcats will have their first base runner. Took a kind of funny hop. It looked like he had a good beat on it, and when it came up on him, he just couldn't quite hold it, and the Wildcats have their first base runner.
And Joe is going to be subbed out here as Carson Fagan is going to come to bat. Running for Joe, I believe, is Kipton Fagan. Joe, the pitcher today, is going to have a courtesy runner all the time. And so for right now, it's Kipton.
So the Fagan brothers, Kipton a big lead at first. Carson, as you mentioned, had a really big catch last night. Kind of keeping base runner off there in the final inning. Big lead. Pitches down low. Carson has some really fine ball games. Hitting the ball, fielding, and pitching. And last night he didn't have to pitch much. I'll come back to something that Coach Free said after the ball game. Carson ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Quick throw over to first, and Kipton is back. Fagan will be followed by Jaden Cheverton. There's nobody out. Runner at first. Pitch. Carson takes one inside. Count is 2 balls and no strikes. Coach Free wanted to stay with Mikey, but he only had 4 pitches to work with, and he didn't want to just bring Carson in a situation where it might be 2-2 and such. So he brought Carson in to close out the ball game last night in the win over Bearden. Carson back in, 2 balls, no strikes. Quick throw over to first, and once again, little brother is back in. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, you kind of look at the game last night, and, Mikey was at 117 pitches, 116 pitches, I believe. And like you said, didn't want to bring anybody in mid-at-bat.
I thought Kipton was going. Here's a quick throw, and back to the bag he goes. That was ball 3. I haven't seen the signal go up. It is 3 balls and no strikes. Wildcats win in order in the first inning. Wildcats trying to get their first 2 guys aboard here in the second in a scoreless ball game. Kipton another big lead. 3 balls, no strikes to Carson Fagan. Pitch, ball 4. So a good start for the Wildcats here in the second. Wildcats have runners at first and second, the Fagan brothers with good speed. And here comes the sophomore Jaden Cheverton.
Jaden Cheverton stepping in. He's playing second base today. 4 straight pitches taken there by Carson. One of the things the Wildcats have been doing is they've been doing a little bit of that fake steal a lot. I've noticed that recently as we come down the stretch here in these games. And it's usually with one of our designated or courtesy runners, which is Kipton and Andy. But some of our faster guys, Mikey and Warren, do it as well.
Jaden's a pretty good bunter, too. Wouldn't be surprised that he laid down a bunt here. We'll see. We're early, only in the second inning. Squares to bunt. Takes a strike on the inner half of the plate at the belt, and the count is 0-1.
Wildcats seems like something they've worked on a lot recently. Warren laid down a really nice bunt down the third base line last night and was able to get on base and kind of threaten even more in the 6th inning, I believe.
Cheverton back in, right-handed hitter. Where's number 13? 1 strike to him. Pitch, he does square to bunt, hits it down the third base line. It's a beauty. Bare hand play. He has no play. It is going to be bases loaded. An infield single for Jaden Cheverton, and the Wildcats have the bases loaded.
Really nice job there by Jaden. And, Jaden is not slow of foot. Jaden got down the line pretty quick, so it was going to be a bang-bang play if the third baseman was able to really get it over there. Smart move by Kipton to turn and then immediately get back, though. No outs. Wildcats in really good position in the bottom of the top of the second, David.
I'm kind of surprised that the third baseman was playing so back because I knew he was going to bunt, and anybody who has scouted Oak Ridge probably could have figured he was going to bunt to move him over, but it's not the case.
Well, and Jaden had already squared to bunt the first at bat as well, and so he was already showing it.
Bases full of Wildcats, nobody out. Cam Welch, the batter. Cam had a couple base hits last night, I do believe. Remember, 1 right up the middle. Bases full of Wildcats. The pitch. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
I believe I had Cam with 2 singles last night.
Whit Reniger's on deck. He's the designated hitter today. Had a good game here at Farragut a couple weeks ago. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Scoreless ball game in the second. Pitch to Cam. Ball 2. Outside. So after really looking dominant in the first inning, a little different story here in the second.
Yeah, David, the Wildcats and really the middle and back half of the order have really come on as the season's gone on, and they've really been some of the best producers of getting on base.
2-0 pitch. Ball 3. Almost hit him. And if Cam Welch takes the bat off his shoulder right here, I'll be very surprised. And he might get a little scolding from Coach Free.
As they usually say, David, he should have wore that one. Maybe he got a little RBI off of that.
He might right here. 3 balls and no strikes. Pitch to Cam. Ball 4. There's the first run of the ball game. Wildcats take on the Farragut Admirals in the District 4 tournament, and it's 1-0 Oak Ridge. Give an RBI to Cam Welch.
The Wildcats are able to still have no outs, bases loaded. Great job by Cam there. Make a mistake, and put a lot of pressure on this Farragut team. It is their home game basically. They were the number 1 seed in the district tournament here, but the Wildcats could do a lot of damage here early in the top of the second inning.
Little conversation going on between the pitching coach at Farragut and the pitcher as people are texting us here. I guess they are enjoying our broadcast. Well, here's Tommy and Martha Lee watching the game. They might. I haven't read the text here, but a lot of times they just don't like where we're positioned on the scoreboard. But you've done a great job, James. I'm not criticizing you, as the Wildcats do have the bases loaded. And here's Witt. Witt had a big hit here a couple weeks ago, which resulted in some RBIs for him. He's another one of those sophomores. When we were up in Kingsport, I'll talk about that in a second. Bases loaded, nobody out, 1-0 Wildcats. Pitch to Witt is a called strike, and the count is 0-1. When Lee Wexler and I were up in Kingsport, he kind of commented that, typically, I'll come back to that, pitcher working fast, Witt back in. 0-1 pitch to him. That's a bit high. Typically on a team as dominant as this one has been, you have about 12 seniors. They're 5. There's only 5 seniors. There's a bunch of sophomores and juniors, underclassmen, who play a lot of baseball.
And if you look at them, they're all kind of the same build as well, David.
1 ball, 1 strike to Witt. Takes a strike.
You think about Kipton and Jaden Cheverton and Witt and Warren East. They're all kind of speedy,
Jonah Wolf, Noah.
Speedy guys that can move and hit pretty well.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Witt. Brooks Poteet on deck for the Wildcats. Pitch. Called strike 3. And that is out number 1 here in the second inning.
As you said, Brooks Poteet stepping up for Oak Ridge as one of my favorite names to say over the PA personally, really the last name.
How do you say it?
Poteet.
Nice kid. Came over from Powell, as we've mentioned. Where's the number 9? Bases loaded. Righty versus lefty. 1-0 Wildcats. Here's the pitch to Brooks. He takes one up high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Brooks had a nice home run on Monday against Grace, and then came up big with a single last night as well. So hopefully he stays hot throughout this tournament and region and run to the state tournament.
Hopefully. Pitch to Brooks. Down low a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Leadoff man Warren East is on deck for the Wildcats. Wildcats went quickly in the first inning. 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts. But here in the second, it's been a different story. Bases loaded for the Wildcats. 2 balls and no strikes. Foul ball coming back our way and out of play. What a crowd we've got on here. Look at all the people up on the wall, up on the hill.
It's really impressive. If you've been to the Oak Ridge Farragut game here for football, they're kind of sitting up behind the visitor stands, and it kind of dips down into this bowl here. But, yeah, a ton of people up there, and a lot of Oak Ridge fans have made the trek out to West Knoxville.
2-1 pitch. That's ball 3 up high. 1 pitch away from perhaps walking in his second run of the second inning. Brooks got to be a good hitter here. 3 balls and 1 strike, 1 out, bases loaded, 1-0 Wildcats in the second.
Don't know if Farragut is kind of looking at the pitch count here for their Schroeder, but this inning he's really kind of labored through a lot of these batters.
Ball hit foul, coming back out of play, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Somebody's car got tagged right there.
I didn't need my sound effects for that one, David.
No, everyone went, even when it hit that car, everyone went, whoa. Brooks got to be a hitter. Got to be swinging anything close. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, another run. 2-0 Wildcats. That's an RBI for Brooks Poteet.
Brooks gets a free pass there, and Carson Fagan comes across the plate. Nice job there by Brooks to continue to battle and put the pressure on the pitcher to make a mistake here as the Wildcats turn the lineup over, and it will be Warren East stepping in for the Wildcats.
Worm struck out his first time on a pitch out of the strike zone. A lot of pitches, as you've said, here in the second. Now there's some movement down towards the Farragut bullpen. Bases loaded. Warren East, the batter, 0 for 1 in the game. He'll be followed by Parker Free. Pitch to Warren. Cut on a miss. High pitch once again. Maybe it's shoulder level, and the count is 0-1. I think Warren is thinking Kingston Pike on that swing.
Well, it looks like it. As speaking of pitches and strikeouts and balls or walks, Schroeder has 4 Ks and 3 walks.
Warren back in, 1 strike. Bases loaded. The pitch. Ball 1. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. We are live at Farragut. Wildcats will run over what scenarios could happen, win or lose today in this tournament. This is not an elimination ball game for either one of these. This is the winner's bracket side of the tournament. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch. There's a called strike of the knees. And the count is 1-2.
I'll say this. Harris for Farragut does a really good job behind the plate, is kind of snapping those pitches back into the what looks like the strike zone, framing them. And might have been a little bit low, but he did a really nice job framing that pitch there.
Warren behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch. Ball 2. Down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. As I mentioned, Warren struck out. In fact, the first 3 Wildcats struck out in the first. It's been a tale of 2 innings. I mean, they went 1, 2, 3 in the first, and here in this one, the Wildcats have sent their 7th man to the plate. 2-2 pitch to Warren. Ooh, just a little bit outside, I do believe. You're right. He's been consistent with it, but he's got a pretty narrow strike zone.
And I believe this is, we're at a full count here, 3-2. I believe this is maybe the 3rd or 4th full count that Schroeder's had just in this inning.
Warren East back in, bases loaded, 2-0 Wildcats. Pitch to Warren. Ripped to center field. It's going to roll to the wall. 1 run in. 2 runs in. And the Wildcats lead Farragut 4-0. A solid hit to right center field. Warren East with an RBI single. 2 RBI single, and the Wildcats lead Farragut 4-0.
Absolutely ripped on a line, David. There was no chance that the center fielder was going to get there. He's playing a little bit off to the right or left field, just off of center, and there was no way, even if he was in center field, he was going to get there, David. Nice job by Warren, staying middle, and just doing something with it and getting 2 RBIs.
Wildcats now have runners on the corners. 4 runs in here in the second. Parker Free, the batter. Parker also a strikeout victim his first time. Runner going to second. Down low, that's a stolen base. A couple more runners in scoring position, James Branson.
I was absolutely just about to say, if Warren didn't go on that pitch, be watching for Warren to go. He's speedy. Obviously, he plays center field. You know the speed that he has. But Farragut almost seeming willing to let him have the base.
8th man to bat in the inning. 4 runs in, the Wildcats. Here's the pitch. Hit foul. Back over towards the concession stand over to our right. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Parker. Wildcats have runners on the at second and third. 1 out still. Pitch to Parker. Almost hit him. Inside, count is 2 balls and 1 strike. So we had an error. We've had 3 walks and 2 singles, and the Wildcats have 4 on the board.
Yeah, and it's really getting started with the middle of the lineup there for the Wildcats, starting with Carson, Joe, who was able to get on, and Kipton ran for him.
Pitch to Parker. That's up high. Mikey Teasley's on deck for the Wildcats. He would be the 9th man to bat in the inning. Parker way ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. There is activity in the Farragut bullpen down the right field line. Free back in, right-handed hitting junior. He's committed to play at Kennesaw State. Pitch to him, cut on a miss. He was thinking Kingston Pike too. Another high pitch, and that's where he's been able to get his strikeouts, has been those pitches high in the zone.
Yeah, it's kind of that borderline of high, and it's kind of, as a fastball, a little bit hard to read and decide if you want to swing or not based on where the placement of the ball is.
Parker takes ball 4.
No question about the placement of that ball, David. There, as that was very, very high.
And this might be the end of the day's work. After a brilliant first inning, here in the second inning, it has all gone awry for the Farragut hurler, and we might have a pitching change, and we will. We'll take a quick break, James. We'll send it back to you. Wildcats on top, 4-0. We'll be back to Farragut in a moment. David Clary, James Branson back here at Farragut High School. Thank you for tuning in on this Saturday morning of baseball here at the ballpark at Farragut. Just a beautiful day for high school baseball. The Wildcats trying to make it to the region tournament. They need a win today, and they'll be in the championship ball game and an automatic berth to the region tournament. Wildcats would love, and this is the year I believe that District 4 is the host of the region tournament. So if the Wildcats can win a championship here and get a chance to host that region tournament, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Now batting to third baseman.
Mikey Teasley batting now. Wildcats' 9th man to bat this inning. 4 runs in. The Wildcats. Teasley steps in. He was a strikeout victim his first time, as were East, Free, and Teasley. But in the second inning, just a totally different story. The Wildcats trying to get more. The bases are loaded. Still only 1 out. Mikey stands in. The pitch to him. Inside for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Hardly any breeze at all. You can see the flag out in right center field just kind of very casually blowing. Mikey obviously with power to put it out anywhere. 1 strike pitch. I don't know where that one was actually. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Sorry, David, I'm getting caught up over here. I didn't see it.
Mikey back in, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, bases loaded. 4 runs in. We're in only the second inning. Pitch to Mikey. Called strike on the inner half of the plate, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe Webb is on deck for the Wildcats. Joseph started this inning, reaching on an error, and that's when the floodgates started on the error by the shortstop. Mikey behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. New pitcher in the ball game. Didn't get his name in a moment. Here's the pitch to Mikey. That's down low, ball 2.
That is Joey Ray, David, the pitcher number 17 for Farragut that came in.
Teasley, a senior, signed to play ball at the University of Tennessee, as Wildcat fans know. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch to him. Ripped into left field. Another base hit. Rolling to the fence. In to score. Brooks Poteet in to score. Warren East at third. The Wildcats have another runner at second and third. A 2 RBI double by Mikey Teasley, and it's 6-0 Oak Ridge.
Great job there by Mikey, just being patient and at the bat. as he was able to see a lot of pitches. I believe 4 in that at bat, or the 5th one he actually ripped to left field on an absolute line. Nice job running by the speed there on the bases by Warren and
Brooks Poteet.
Brooks.
Now batting the pitcher, number 24.
So the Wildcats now have runners at second and third, still only one out. The 10th man to bat in the order this inning, as Joseph Webb has an opportunity here. 6 runs in for the Wildcats. Ray, right-handed throwing pitcher for the Admirals. Pitch to Joe. Bounces away, but not far enough. Scampering back to the bag will go Andy Hudson. Appreciate his grandfather, Ed Hudson, who is our sponsor for the ball game today. TSSAA, blood money is what I call it, James. $200 to broadcast any tournament ball game, and Ed paid our rights fee today, and we appreciate him.
I prefer to say $AA.
Yep, I would agree with that too. I've got a good friend that works for him, and I hope he's not listening. I'm sure he's not. But he does help us out a lot when we go to the state tournaments and such. But, I guess it pays his salary. Pitch to Joe. There's a called strike. Evens the count at 1-1 strike. Carson Fagan's on deck. Joe started this inning off reaching on an error. And since that time, 6 Wildcats have crossed the plate here at Farragut. Pitch. Cut on and missed. Took something off on that one. 1-2 strikes.
Yeah, David, you mentioned not just timely hits, but like hits where they've seen a lot of pitches. Like I said, I believe there's several 3-2 counts, 3 or 4 of them. And the Wildcats are being able to see a lot and time up the pitchers really well.
Joe back in, 1-2 pitch to him. Outside and low. And the count is 2 strikes. A couple Saturdays ago when we were here, we had a big student section. I guess it's a little bit too early for them this morning.
I believe it was the student section where somebody paid for a lot of our students to come over, which you love to see our students travel like that.
Right. 2 strikes. The pitch to Joe. Hit in the air. That's going to get another run in. It's deep to right field. The right fielder makes a catch and in to score on the sacrifice fly. And the RBI will come Oak Ridge's Andy Hudson. And Oak Ridge leads Farragut now 7-0 here in the second inning.
Really nice job there by Joe to drive that run in, help himself out there. The fact that it was all the way down to deep right allowed Mikey to move up to left field, really without a throw as well. So nice job of hitting there by Joe Webb. Carson Fagan, the left fielder, now stepping in for the Wildcats.
Wildcats have taken advantage big time of all the walks, the errors, to put 7 on the board. They still have Mikey at third. 2 outs now. Pitch to Carson. He takes one. That was high, but he called it a strike. Count is no balls and 1 strike.
Kind of that borderline pitch we've been talking about a little bit there, David, is kind of hard to tell whether to swing at it or not.
Mikey, the base runner at third base. 7 runs in here in the second. Pitch to Carson. Hit on the ground. Third base side. He boots it. Another run scores. 8-0. Oak Ridge. The Wildcats putting it on the Admirals here in the second inning.
You're absolutely right, David, as the Admiral defense is kind of let down here a little bit, as that I believe is the second error of the inning on the infield specifically.
Yeah, the shortstop and the third baseman. So the Wildcat inning continues. And I'm glad you're the guy going to be doing the tweets here in a second. Jaden Sheverton, the batter. Jaden picked up a single on a bunt his first time, scored a run. 8-0 Wildcats as the Oak Ridge team bats here at the district tournament. Pitch, that's up high. 1 ball, no strikes.
I will say this about our umpires so far, David. They've been pretty consistent. Not a lot of questionable calls. A really nice job by them on their part.
12th man to bat in the inning. 8 runs in. Runner at first. Pitch. There's a called strike. And that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, he's very consistent. I mean, he's very consistent. I only can remember one pitch that I didn't much care for. There's Jemiah Hall in the house.
Might be a little bit of a tight zone, but at least you know where it's going to be.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner at first. Pitch. Jaden couldn't pull the trigger on that one. That stayed a little bit low. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. A win gives Oak Ridge an opportunity to play in the championship ball game and a berth to the region tournament.
Absolutely, and those games will also be held here at Farragut as they were the #1 team in the district.
Jaden, here's a delayed steal. Here's the throw down and a stolen base. Wildcats pick up a stolen base, and I believe that was Kipton. And that'll be Kipton's second stolen base. First stolen base, he scored a run. Jaden back in, 2 balls and 2 strikes to him, 2 outs. Another runner in scoring position. The Wildcats have had several hits to get RBIs in with 2 strikes.
Absolutely, and really taking advantage of those, not just 2 strikes, but full counts. I believe that was Carson on second, David.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Pitch, hit, softly, 1 hop to the second baseman. He throws on the first, and the inning is finally over. The Wildcats put 8 runs on the board in the second inning. We go to the bottom of the second inning in a very long second inning. The Wildcats on top of the Admirals, 8-0. We'll be back to Farragut in a moment.
Number 22, Travis Brummett Jr.
Travis Brummett Jr., the leadoff man for the Admirals here in the second. You know, a lot of baseball to be played here, James, but just like the last time we were here, the Wildcats picked up, jumped on them early and big, 8 runs. The Wildcats won that game 11-4. An 8-run inning, you just don't see that against the Admirals very often, if at all.
No, and you got to take advantage when you do see it, David.
Brummett swings through that one. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Been a while since Joseph was on the mound. The Wildcats sent 12 or 13 men to the plate. There's a called strike at the knees. And the count is 1-2. Brummett didn't like that call. He's a big, tall guy. And it was right at the knees. 1-2 pitch. That's down low. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Guy was the starting pitcher for the game at Oak Ridge, did really well.
That pitch is up high, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
The designated hitter today for the Admirals.
Parker has the sign, gives the sign to Joe. Here's the pitch. Looked pretty good, right at the knees. I don't know, a little inconsistent on that particular at bat, and that's ball 4. So they got a base runner. And one thing I was talking to Mikey's grandfather over here, James, and he was talking about the difference between the first inning and the second inning for the Farragut pitcher is when they committed that error and he had to work with men on base, he was a totally different pitcher.
Very different pitcher, had to come out of the stretch a little bit, and really the pressure kept staying on him the whole inning.
You know, Joe hadn't been on the mound. There was a very long top half of this inning. And, he participated a couple times. He falls behind. 1 ball, no strikes. It's a called strike at the knees. Evens the count 1-1.
Batting right now for the Admirals, number 9, the center fielder, Zane Qureshi-Smith. As you mentioned there, a long inning by the Wildcats. Really, they saw a lot of pitches, like several 3-2 counts.
Ball hit in the air. Left field, Carson Fagan's right under it, and he makes the one-handed grab for out number 1. Runner at first. 8-0 Wildcats. If you just tuned in, the Wildcats put 8 on the board in the top half of this inning, the second inning, after going 1-2-3 with 3 strikeouts in the first inning. And the Wildcats have an 8-0 lead.
This is Mason Shelton, the second baseman for Farragut, stepping in now.
Left-handed hitter. Wildcats split the season series with the Admirals. He squares the bunt and hits it foul back to the screen. Why is that guy running towards second? No clue. He didn't start until the ball was all the way back at the netting. Yeah, I know. He must have seen it differently. He did take off. I guess he just wasn't sure where the ball was. No balls and 1 strike. Live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Appreciate James Branson for doing everything today. He's doing everything. Pitch from Joe is low and outside. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Winner goes to the championship ball game and also qualifies for the region tournament. And then the sectional, then hopefully the state. Joe to the plate. Hit in the air, foul territory, straight up in the air. That's a major league foul ball. And it goes into the Farragut dugout. That ball was, 100 yards up in the air.
David, that probably would be out close to the warning track if that would had any like lift on it that way out toward the right field or center field.
That might be one of the highest foul balls I think I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
We don't have any clouds here in the sky, but I almost lost it in the little wisps of clouds that are floating by.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. 8-0 Wildcats as the Admirals bat in the second. Farragut wearing their pinstripes. What a powerhouse program they have here at Farragut High School. Pitch, hit on the ground, first base side. They've got 1 at second. They get the lead runner back to first. In time, double play. Started by Camden Welch. He fielded it. He could have easily just stepped on the bag and got the easy out, but he looked to second. They got the slow runner coming from first to second. Then the return throw, double play, and out of the inning.
You know, David, just your classic 3-6-3 double play. Camden Welch, really nice job there. Getting it over to Noah Wood, and then right back Noah getting it to him to get out of that inning. And Wildcats bats coming right back out here.
Going to turn off the mic here. We're live at Farragut on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. 8-0 Wildcats. Back in a moment. Welcome back once again to the ballpark at Farragut. Wildcats on top 8-0. Leading things off for the Oak Ridge Wildcats is Cam Welch. He picked up an RBI with a bases-loaded walk and scored a run. Started that double play to win the second inning.
Yeah, really nice job there by Cam just to fill his position well.
Takes a strike on the inner half of the plate, and we're underway here in the third.
David, as you mentioned, kind of a long second inning there for the Admirals. Joe Webb has still faced the minimum 6 batters so far.
1 strike pitch, that's up high and outside. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 8 runs for the Wildcats in the second. A couple errors contributed to the demise of the Admirals. 2 errors that inning. 1-1 pitch to Cam, hit on the ground to the shortstop. This time he feels it, this time he throws it, and this time he is out. So that's 1 up and 1 down here in the 3rd inning.
Wildcats, the designated hitter, number 6, Whit Reniger. Whit struck out, I believe, his first at bat in that 2nd inning, but the bottom of the lineup picked him up there and kept the train running.
Left-handed hitting sophomore. Be a 2nd game today, right after hours, not involving Oak Ridge. Witt squares to bunt, takes 1 down low. 1 ball, no strikes. Ray still on the hill for the Admirals.
Ray is still on the hill for the Admirals. He's only pitched, he's pitched 1 inning completely right now.
Here, Coach McKeithen down in the first ball's hit foul, first base coaching box. They've got activity again in their bullpen, James.
I believe that is number 24 for them. Last name is Kreiner.
Whip back in. 1 ball, 1 strike to him. 1 out, nobody aboard. We're in the 3rd inning. The District 4 ball game at Farragut. Witt takes 1 down low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Brooks Poteet is on deck. He had an RBI, scored a run with a bases loaded walk his first time. Pitch to Witt. Ball 3. Low and inside. James, you know, last night was such a nerve-wracking ball game. I know there's a lot of baseball to be played, but last night I never felt comfortable in that game.
Yeah, you were kind of all on edge. You know, Bearden played a really well game. Wildcats did as well.
Yeah, Mikey was pitching well, but, you know, Wildcats committed a couple miscues, and, you know, for the most part, you know, it was just nerve-wracking. And this one, I don't want to relax because there's a lot of baseball to be played, but it's so much better to be 8-0 than just a 3-1 ball game. Whip back in, 3-2 count, pitch to him. That's ball 4. So 1 out walk. Appreciate all of our Admiral fans watching on our YouTube broadcast. I apologize. We are an Oak Ridge-based broadcast, and we we are for Oak Ridge in this one, but we appreciate the Farragut people who will be watching. I'm going to ask James in between innings to look at our chat and see where people might be watching us from. There's a huge lead at first for Witt. I mean, that is one big lead right there. He better be careful. And he does draw the throw, and easily back to the bag he goes. Brooks had an RBI, bases loaded walk his first time. He'll be followed by Warren, who had a line drive, 2 RBI single. That kind of got things going. Another quick throw over to first, and back to the bag will go the sophomore.
Nope.
Even when you're not in the booth, you're doing the sound effects.
I believe right now, David, we have right at 300 viewers.
Okay.
299.
Pitch to the plate. There's a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Brooks. Just crazy the way baseball is. In the first inning, the Wildcats' top guys, Warren East, Parker Free, Mikey Teasley, struck out and didn't look good doing it. In the second inning, totally different story. 8 runs on the board. They had to replace that pitcher. Brooks back in, no balls and 1 strike. Hit down the line. Foul. I mean, he roped it, but it had so much spin on it, it went foul. That would have been a double and might have scored the run, but just foul.
Absolutely ripped right over the first baseman's head. Brooks maybe just a hair early, but right over the first baseman's head. I mean, Brooks might still be running if that were a fair ball.
I've gotten a chance to know his parents and grandparents. Glad to have him in Oak Ridge. No balls and 2 strikes. Ed Hudson, speaking of grandparents, our sponsor for today's game. Pitch to Brooks. Ooh, boy. That was a tough one. Farragut fans didn't like the call. Might have been a little inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Somebody up on the hill's not too happy. Poteet back in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out runner at first. That's Whit Reniger. See if he goes on this pitch. Nope. There's a ball. Here's a quick throw, and Witt, he's close to being out. Witt's got to be a little bit more careful. He's taken a huge lead anyway.
He's got a huge lead, and you said couple of our fans up here not happy about this. I'll say I think this umpire has been pretty consistent, David, and it's a little bit hard to see when you're not right where we are or right where he is, exactly the inside, outside of that the pitches that the pitcher's throwing.
2-2 pitch to Brooks. That's ball 3. And the umpire down at first base, all I can say, or maybe it's first, I can't see. One of the umpires out in the field, his sister was a better basketball player than him. That's all I can say. His sister was a better basketball player.
We usually don't insult other umpires like that, David.
3-2 pitch to Brooks. That's a called strike 3 at the knees, and that is out number 2. And Brooks a little upset with himself. It was a borderline pitch. It was a strike. I mean, he just couldn't pull the trigger on it.
We are back to the top order here, David. Warren East, center fielder for the Wildcats, will step in.
Warren struck out his first time. 2 RBI single, scored a run. Stole a base back in the second inning. Witt draws a throw once again. 2 outs in the third. 8-0 Wildcats. 2 big errors by Farragut have hurt their cause. The Wildcats, some clutch hitting, some bases loaded walks. Pitch to Warren. That's a called strike.
I believe that last strikeout there by Ray was his first strikeout of the game.
It was. Warren back in, behind in the count. 1 strike, 2 outs, runner at first. Farragut dugout very quiet for them. Pitch. Ball 2. Usually Farragut's dugout is very rowdy, but when you're down 8-0, it's kind of hard to get going. The Oak Ridge dugout's been very, very active today. Early morning, they had batting practice this morning at 7:15 in the morning. Warren back in, 1 ball, 1 strike, runner going. Here's the throw down, and Witt has a stolen base. And the Wildcats have another runner in scoring position and a 2 ball, 1 strike count on Warren East. Warren going to Youngstown State. I have trouble saying that, but that's where he's committed to play.
Up in Ohio, I believe.
It is. I've talked to Warren a couple times on the air, but I haven't asked him why he chose that. I guess he might have some travel ball coaches or some sort. Warren takes, that's high and inside, but called a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You saw Witt take second there, the previous pitch, and I was kind of wondering if Coach Free was going to send Witt to second to try to get him in scoring position. Witt's got pretty good speed out there, but with 2 outs, you never know.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Farragut was warming somebody else up in the bullpen. You might see several pitchers here for Farragut in this game if the score holds, because they don't want to have too many pitches on their arms so that they can maybe use them later against Monday or Tuesday.
Pitch to Warren. He asked for help. He did not go. He held up just in time. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, I would agree with that. You have to, if you lose this ball game, you fall into the loser's bracket, and you'll have to play multiple games to get to the championship and get an opportunity. And you want to save your pitching for sure. You just got to be nice to get another run here. Warren back in, runner at second. The pitch to Warren East, cut on and missed, and that is a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 3. The Wildcats pick up a base runner. They leave him stranded. We go to the bottom half of the third inning at the ballpark at Farragut on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in West Knox County. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top by a score of 8-0. We appreciate Ed Hudson for sponsoring our ball game. He paid the TSSAA rights fee. Ed's a longtime supporter, longtime Oak Ridgers, had kids, grandkids, including Andy Hudson, who's on the current team, and he paid for our rights fee. We appreciate all of our sponsors. Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the Oak Ridge class of 1989. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge. Todd Fox of the Fox Insurance Group. East Tennessee Spine and Sport. That's our old friend Donnie Sharp. Mike Kelly, Betsy Coleman Realty. Mike's here as usual. Mike doesn't miss many. Unless his wife has something for him to do around the house, Mike's going to be at the ball game. And we appreciate the Fagan family and the Haddock family from Amarillo, Texas as well. Oak Ridge on top 8-0. I'm going to turn the mic off. We'll be back to Farragut in a moment. We welcome you back to Farragut High School on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, on a beautiful day. Beautiful day for the Wildcats so far. A lot of baseball to be played, but the Wildcats have an 8-0 lead. A win puts them in the region tournament and the championship ball game of District 4, which Farragut has really totally dominated. I mean, you see the state championship starting in 1982. I think there's maybe 13 of them out there. They've won a ton of state championships. 1982, 2004, 2006, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2014, 2019, 2022, 2023, 24, 25. I'd say that's a pretty good program. They've had multiple coaches, too. It isn't just one guy that came in here and dominated. One strike pitch. There's pitch a little outside and low. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
You're absolutely right, David. And there's one in 03 there that Brooks was covering up that you missed as well. And so just dominant program, like you said.
Ball hit on the ground, 2 hops. Cam Welch, he's going to be a race to the bag, and the Wildcats win it with Joe Webb. I thought Cam for a moment was going to try to do it himself. The big guy thought, nah, I'll give it to Joe. He's coming quickly, and he tosses it on, and that's out number 1 here in the third.
Really nice by Cam there to continue to field his position, as batting now for Farragut will be the first baseman, number 3, Caleb Van Lant.
Appreciate Alex Myers and Mike Sheehan for our broadcast last night. They love doing those home games. There's a foul tip for strike 1. 1 out, nobody aboard for the Admirals. We're in the 3rd inning. Appreciate Ben George, who's done some broadcasts. And, of course, Mike Kelly. He's one of our sponsors, Betsy Coleman Realty. Saw Mike a few minutes ago. There he goes. He's wandering around. Ball hit in the air to left field once again. Carson's been busy out there, and he makes another one-handed grab for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 3rd. Joe cruising right now.
Joe still faced the minimum number of batters here. As you mentioned Carson over there, that is the 4th time that he's fielded his position. Carson took fly balls in the 1st inning, 2nd inning, and 3rd inning here so far. As we have Braxton Ty, number 1, up for them. Their shortstop, he swings at a strike, as this will be the first time that he has seen Joe here today, as Joe, again, has only faced 8 batters. Joe comes to the plate.
I agree.
Ball is outside there, a little bit low.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Jared. There's one of your boys here, James, Jared Bafford. Pitch is high. 2 balls and 1 strike. So, Jared, remind the fans where you're going to be playing ball next year.
University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
He's one of our Wildcat footballers. Pitch is hit foul back to the screen. What do you think about the start, Jared, for this ball game?
It was a hot start. It was a good start. I mean, 8 runs in the second and top of the second. You can't really beat it.
Always good to talk to Wildcats. We'll be graduating here pretty soon. 2-2 pitch with 2 outs and nobody aboard. That's a little bit low, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Coach Gaddis in the house. Before I forget it, maybe let's see this pitch here. Hit in the air. That should be out number 3. Center fielder Warren East. Shallow center field. High sky makes the catch. 3 up and 3 down. The Admirals go in order in the 3rd. We go to the 4th inning here at Farragut High School. The ballpark at Farragut. Oak Ridge 8. Farragut nothing. Before I forget, James Branson, congratulations to the Oak Ridge Lady Wildcats softball team. They ended their season last night in a ball game against the Bearden Bulldogs, but you talk about some major improvement in that program. There have been years here recently where the girls haven't won but a couple games, but this year, double-digit wins and just an improving. They blew out some teams this year. They're not good. Their season's done, but great improvement. And the coaching staff there and Coach Gaddis have told me the future is incredibly bright for the Lady Wildcat softball team.
Absolutely, David. I think you said maybe double digits, 10 or 11 wins, I believe, for the Lady Wildcats. As, they've got a lot of young talent, as you mentioned. Their catcher's young. I think one of their pitchers is young. Their offensive production has gone up. And so you talked about District 4 being a rough district for baseball. It's about the same for softball as well.
McMinn County Cherokees are in the house. If Dylan and Preston and those guys were around, I'd be telling them, hey, we should go on down to McMinn County again after 6 straight days going to cover the basketball team. We've got a new pitcher coming into the ball game for the Admirals, and I think he was warming up earlier. And you made a good point. Farragut down 8-0, and it's still early. I mean, we're only in the 4th inning, but getting kind of late. And 8 runs is a pretty high deficit to overcome. If they lose the ball game, they've got multiple games they're going to have to play.
They'll have to play Monday and Tuesday in that bracket game to get back to the championship. You would probably expect Farragut to be able to do that. But, again, you're probably going to see a lot more pitchers so that they keep their pitch count down so they can play those other games. And the Wildcats are in a good position. If you win 2 games, you're in the championship game of the district if you're the Wildcats. And you want to keep that rolling to keep your pitchers in line as well.
Yeah, if the Wildcats win this ball game, I've said this several times, they're in the region tournament, and that's where you want to be, obviously. It's not like basketball where 4 teams come from each district. It's 2 teams from each district. So, it's and you're just, a couple wins away from the state tournament. Parker Freeze, the batter. Parker had a walk his first time, or his second time. He struck out as well. 0 for 1 officially. Nobody on as we move to the 4th inning here at Farragut High School. Working with multiple cameras today. Parker takes one low, and the count is 1-0.
And also in that, to mention, if Oak Ridge continues to lead and win here and go on to play Tuesday, whoever they will play has to beat Oak Ridge twice.
Correct. Pitch, hit on the ground, off the pitcher's mitt. It's going to be a bang-bang play. They're not going to make it. That's an infield single. Parker Free legs it out. The ball was hit and tipped off the glove, and I'm going to give him a single there, James.
I'm absolutely in agreement with that. The pitcher was really more in defensive mode there. I believe that's Kreiner in defensive mode there, trying to get his glove up and in the way. And, you mentioned Parker went 0 for 4 last night. Every single one of those balls was hit hard. It wasn't like they were not hit hard or that he struck out. So really nice job by Parker there to get on, as I believe we have Andy Hudson coming in as a courtesy runner for Parker.
Here's Mikey Teasley. He struck out his first time, had a 2 RBI double. Last time, Wildcats sent 12 or 13 men to the plate in the 2nd inning, plating 8 runs, and that's the score right now, 8-0 Wildcats as they bat in the 4th. Trying to get more. I'd love to see a run rule ball game. Those are rare. I just can't get over the Farragut dugout over there, how quiet they are. I mean, they are usually rowdy and into it. Maybe those 7:15 batting practice days should continue, even on school days.
I was about to say, David, you mentioned the run rule inning there. If the Wildcats can tag on a few more here and get to the 5th inning, it could be an early day for the Oak Ridge.
Still a lot of baseball, though. Farragut's a great program, as we know. There's a pitch just a little outside. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. The umpire's been very, very consistent, as we've talked about. But one of those umpires, his sister was so much better than him in basketball, James. I mean, it's no question. I mean, really. Well, I'll get your opinion in here in a second. Mikey bats here, 2 balls, no strikes to him. The pitch, he takes one on the inner half of the plate. Do you agree with me?
I do agree with you, David. I think when you have a sister that takes several teams to the state tournament as the point guard, there's no fault in not being as good as somebody at that level.
That would be Jennifer Hendricks, who was MVP of a couple district and region tournaments as well. Her career years ago, runner going, ball gets away. And he went head first anyway with the slide, and count is 3-1. The Wildcats have another runner in scoring position. We've had a lot of base runners, with the exception of that 1st inning where the Wildcats struck out. The first 3 guys were struck out by the Farragut pitcher. Wildcats have had base runners in every inning.
They have, and for the most part, they've been able to get runs off of that, mainly in the 2nd inning there, as Andy Hudson is now standing at second base.
His grandfather, Ed Hudson, our sponsor, paid the TSSAA rights fee for us today. Appreciate that. Mikey ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out. Runner at second. Mikey hits the ball in the air. Right field. Shallow right. Let's see if the Wildcats, I don't think Andy will tag. The ball wouldn't hit that deep, and that is out number 1 here in the 4th inning.
As you said, David Knight hit that deep, not allowing Andy to tag up and head to second there. Pretty good arm there in right field for Farragut by Flag, able to hit his cutoff man pretty quickly to prevent that run from getting over to third. Joe Webb now stepping in for Oak Ridge, the pitcher.
He really started that second inning. He reached on an error, and then the floodgates opened up after that. He also has a sacrifice fly and an RBI. Officially 0 for 1 in the ballgame with that RBI. Andy Hudson, the base runner at second. Carson Fagan's on deck. There's one out in the fourth. Pitch to Joe. Count on a missed. Count is 0-1. Farragut and Oak Ridge, rivals in every sport. I mean, great ball games in football and a couple not so good ones this year in basketball. The Admirals got the Wildcats number for the first time in almost 15 years. But a great rivalry in all sports. And baseball, it hasn't been the same, although I can remember some state championship Farragut teams, believe it or not, that Oak Ridge would come over here and play in that game where they'd play with the throwback game, and they'd beat them. But then they'd go on and win a state championship.
Oak Ridge and Farragut would both wear like 1950s-style jerseys.
Ball hit softly on the ground to the pitcher. And here's the throw, and that is out number 2. Good play by the pitcher. He kind of drilled one over at first. Moving over to third is Andy Hudson, but there are 2 outs, and it's going to be up to Carson Fagan.
Carson having a really good day so far for the Wildcats, getting on base both times. And Joe helped himself out in the second inning there with that sac fly, so moving Andy over. Hopefully Carson can capitalize in this position as well.
Carson walked and scored his first time, reached on an error his second time, and that both taking place in the second inning when the Wildcats put 8 on the board. 2 outs, runner at third. Wild pitch means a run, pass ball, perhaps. Carson thinking base hit, and one of the 5 seniors on this Wildcat team hits the ball foul over towards Coach Gaddis. It bounces just a bit away from him. Wonder if the old man can still catch. I know he loves baseball. I know he loves baseball, but you think he can still make plays?
I think he has enough gumption in him to at least try, David.
Carson back in behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Count on a missed. Count is 0-2. Appreciate the Fagans down in Amarillo. We're going to check the stream here in a moment, the chat, to see where people are watching us. Let us know. I'd love to know where everybody's watching on a Saturday morning. We have less viewers sometimes on these Saturday games, but this is an important game. 2-strike pitch to Carson. Cut on and missed, and that is strike 3, and that is out number 3. We go to the bottom of the fourth. James, anybody on the chat?
For the Wildcats in the fourth, no runs on 1 hit. We have no errors, 1 runner left on base.
Here in the chat, a lot of people saying go Wildcats. Watching for a couple different players of ours, some from Chattanooga. And
That's probably Mikey's aunt.
Probably. You said the Fadigans and Haddocks are watching from Texas. I almost said it is Amarillo by morning over there right now.
That's an old George Strait song, obviously. Anybody else watching? How about our friends from Connecticut watching Dylan Skeen?
Yeah, Dylan, they're in here watching Dylan as well. As I'm looking for that, go ahead and mention that due up for Farragut in the bottom of the fourth inning will be the top of the order. Jake Harris, Aiden Flagg, and Neelan Williams. They flew out, grounded out, and then flew out to Carson again.
Wildcats trying to knock off the Admirals for the second consecutive time. The Wildcats and Admirals split during the regular season. Wildcats winning here 11-4, losing at Bobby Hopkins 5-4. Wildcats started their season way back against the Central Bobcats, rattled off about 10 straight wins over Central, Maryville, Nolensville, McMinn County twice, Anderson County, Boyd Buchanan, then Hardin Valley before losing their first ball game to the Hawks 8-1. Then the Wildcats went on another winning streak, victories over Leesburg, Jefferson County, Providence, North Little Rock, Fairhope, Shades Valley, Collinsville, and Westview, and then that tie against Mountain Brooks, a 14-inning affair, 6-6. Wildcats then had victories over Lenore City twice, then West, and fell to Science Hill. Then wins over Central, Bearden twice, Ray County twice, Greenville, then losing to Dobbins-Bennett, Elder, Jefferson County, and Farragut. The Wildcats have won 3 of their last 4 with wins over Farragut and Gibbs and Bearden last night, and a loss to the Grace Rams on senior night. We go to the bottom of the 4th, James.
Yeah, top of the order due up for Farragut. This is Jake Harris here, the catcher, as he is now in an advantage, 2-0 advantage in this at-bat.
2 balls and no strikes, nobody on, nobody out. We're in the 4th. A lot of baseball to be played. Wildcats up 8-0. Pretty good pitch there. 3 balls and no strikes.
I'm not going to question this umpire too much. I think he's been pretty consistent so far today, but that looked pretty nice.
3-0 pitch. That's ball 4. A little inside, I believe. Maybe a little outside. And it's ball 4. It's the start for the Admirals. And the Wildcats gave up a base runner in the previous inning, but a double play got Joseph out of the inning.
Aiden Flagg stepping in, the right fielder for Farragut, grounded out to third in his last at bat. This is Harris's first time being on base.
McMinn County and Hardin Valley rolling in today for the second ball game, I would assume. Runner at first. Pitch from Joe is way up high. One thing Joe doesn't want to do, obviously, is walk people, get base runners on. He's had very long innings with the Wildcats batting. Even the innings where they haven't scored, there have been some long innings with base runners. That's 6 straight out. Well, the first one they called a strike, I guess, according to the scoreboard. Yeah, it's 2-0. That's what I thought. I thought the count was 2-0. You don't want to start walking people and get them back in the ballgame.
Joe's done a great job so far through 3 innings as he throws over to first base to hold the runner.
Wildcats put 8 on the board in the second inning, and that's where we stand at 8-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th at Farragut. The winner plays in the championship game and advances to the region. Called strike. It was a high strike. And that was maybe about shoulder level there, James.
Yeah, it's the borderline fastball that he's kind of hesitated on some a little bit there, but, it's called it both ways.
2-1 pitch, called strike 2. Much better at the knees, outer half of the plate. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cam Welch is the first baseman. Wildcats have, I guess, Jaden Cheverton at second. Noah Woods the shortstop. Mikey Teasley's at third. Parker Free behind the plate. 2-2 pitch upcoming from Joseph Webb. Hit foul. Back out of play over the Dean Fieldhouse. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Your outfielders, Carson Fagan, left. Warren Easton center. Brooks Poteet is in right field. Two balls, 2 strikes. Pitch. All the way back to the backstop, and they've got a runner at second.
Advances over to second on the high pitch there by Joe.
So a mounting threat for the Admirals. They've got a runner in scoring position. Nobody out. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. Been all Oak Ridge to this point. Farragut hasn't done much offensively, but they're very capable, as we all know. Webb has the sign, checks the runner at second. And timeout is asked for by the batter.
That Farragut dugout kind of starting to come to life a little bit, as you mentioned there before, now that they have a runner in scoring position.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Joe trying to avoid a second straight walk, and he walks him. So they've got runners at first and second, and nobody out. And you're right, their dugout has come alive.
Left fielder for Farragut that is coming in. He flew out to left in his first at bat.
Mikey Teasley or the other battery. The battery.
Now batting for the Admirals, the left fielder,
Runners at first and second, nobody out.
Nayland Williams.
Neelam Williams steps to the plate, right-handed hitter. Admirals trying to dent the scoreboard. Wildcats up 8-0. Like I keep saying, a lot of baseball to be played, so you can't relax. Pitch is a little bit low, just missing the strike zone, just a little bit below the knees. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Back-to-back walks for Joseph. Big righty checks the runner at second. From the stretch, the 1-0 pitch, that's way outside. Nowhere close, and he's in danger of perhaps walking 3 straight to start the 4th inning. Like I said, these guys can play. Obviously, you don't win 4 consecutive state championships. Joe needs to make a good pitch right here. 2 balls, no strikes. Squares to butt. That's outside, ball 3. Just missing the strike zone, but he is missing. Joe takes a little walk off the mound. Coach Ball, pitching coach for the Wildcats, doing a little pacing in the dugout. I think if he gives up a walk here, he'll go out and visit his big junior pitcher. Pitch. There's a called strike, and the count is 3-1. Kevin McKeithen, Jeremiah Ball, Kyle Geary, Jeff Ulrich, coaches for the Wildcats, along with Spencer McMurdo and Nate Hoffmeister, the Wildcat coaches. 3 balls and 1 strike, the pitch. Ball 4. Bases loaded. Nobody out. So a little bit of a trouble. Let's see if Coach Ball takes a walk out to the mound. Nope, it's going to be Coach Free. Coach Free is going to wander out, and their big guy, Brummett, is coming to the plate.
Brummett coming to the plate with no outs there, and the bases loaded as Brummett in his first at bat walked the only base runner for the Admirals up until this inning, and he is probably one of their best players. That's why they have him hitting in the 4 position.
Big guy with lots of power. 310 down the line. He's a lefty in right field. Bases loaded. Farragut's best opportunity to score. Joe's been really good, but 3 walks in this inning, and that's one thing that really kind of got the Wildcats going with the free passes in the second inning to put 8 runs on the board.
Tense situation here. It seemed like the Wildcats were in a very similar position last night with the bases loaded. I believe 1 out with Bearden. Obviously, you got to respect Farragut and what they've done. Coach Free looks like he's going to trust Joe here. Probably a little advice as he comes out there. One beneficial thing, though, the Wildcats do have an 8-0 lead.
Travis Brummett Jr., the Wildcats, let's see. In on the grass is Cam Welch at first, playing in front of the runner at first. Regular depths, the rest of the infield positions. Mikey just about a step behind the grass. Pitch to Brummett, ball 1. Really, the first couple batters, they had some close ones, but he hasn't been really close as of late. Parker trying to give him a little encouragement behind the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch. Ball 2, nowhere close. See Coach Ball continuing to pace. This guy's got power. He can cut the lead in half. Joe just needs to find the strike zone. 2-0 pitch. There's a called strike. And the count is 2-1.
Obviously, Brummett is a good hitter. He was a starting pitcher and played on last year's team as well. I believe he was the pitcher that won the state championship game for him.
2-1 pitch. Outside corner for a called strike. That evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good pitch there by Joe. Just painted the corner right at the knees. Joe trying to get his first out here. First 2-2 count of this inning. Nobody out. Bases full of Admirals. Brummett the batter. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Now, not even close. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Oak Ridge put 8 on the board. The Admirals capable to do the same, so Joe needs to buckle down here. 3 balls, 2 strikes the count. Farragut fans and dugout finally making some noise. Timeout is asked for by Brummett. Joe pulls out his glove hand, wipes the perspiration off on his pants. And the junior prepared to deliver another 3-2 pitch. A lot of pitches thrown this inning. 3-2 pitch. Cut on a miss. Go sit down. Brummett, out number 1 here in the 4th inning. Big strikeout there by Joe.
Huge strikeout by Joe as he was able to battle back and get that strikeout, his first strikeout of the game. Stepping in now for Farragut will be the center fielder, number 9, Zane Qureshi-Smith.
What has he done today?
He has flied out to Carson, just about like half of the other lineup.
1 out, bases loaded, pitch. Oh, nice pitch there. And he gets ahead the first time. I think he's gotten ahead of a batter this inning. No balls and 1 strike. Joe's been through the wars before. Got a good fastball. Is committed to play at Vanderbilt. Still only a junior. A lot to learn. 1 strike pitch. Hit to right field. Brooks Poteet over. Makes the catch. Here comes the throw. And in. And he is safe. And that is the first run. But it is 8-1. But the good news is that is out number 2. The ball was hit right on the button. Great throw, I thought, by Brooks. And just barely went past the cutoff man. And Parker just got under the tag. And it's 8-1.
Great job there by Brooks. It was absolutely ripped into right field. I was kind of curious on that throw. It was right over Cam Welch's head. I was wondering if Cam was going to field it and try to get the guy out at first, or if he was going to let it go all the way to home, and he did.
I'm kind of surprised the runner didn't tag and go from second to third. He's still there, first and second. 1 run in, 2 outs now. Pitch is down low, 8-1 the score. We're in the 4th inning. High school ball, obviously, you play 7, for those of you new to high school ball. Winner plays in the championship ball game and advances to the region tournament. 2 outs. Joseph Webb has the sign from Parker Free. Timeout is asked for.
For Farragut, this is Mason Sheldon, the second baseman, stepping in for them in this situation.
McMinn County and Hardin Valley will play after this ball game. They're already here watching. 8-1 Wildcats, 4th inning. Pitch to Joe, outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Got the big strike out of Brummett. Got the line drive out to Brooks Poteet. Well, sacrifice and an RBI. Joe trying to limit the damage. He had the bases loaded with nobody out. 1 run so far is scored. Trying to get the 3rd out. Joe's pitch. Hit well. Hit deep. Carson back on it. To the wall. To the fence. It's out of here. 3-run home run, Farragut. And just like that, it's an 8-4 ball game. Big home run by the Admirals, and just like that, they're right back in the game.
Right back in the game, as you said. Sheldon clears the bases there. His home run was hit right over the signs over there. Probably cleared him by about 5 feet or so. Carson looked like he was on it because of how low it originally took off from the bat. But 8-4, the lead now for the Wildcats, as we will have number 38, the third baseman, Cole Kreisman, stepping in.
Back-to-back balls hit right on the button. Pitch is down low. I told you, there's a lot of baseball to be played. Don't get too comfortable. The Wildcat offense needs to get back to work. Joe just trying to end things here in the 4th. Pitch called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. What's been the hardest part about doing the switcher and the scoreboard and everything? Doing the switcher, the scoreboard.
What's been the hardest?
All of the above. Ball ripped foul. That ball would have been a double. I mean, last 3 batters have tattooed pitches. One was an out to Brooks. The other was a home run. That ball roped again, but foul.
Kreisman just hit it just a little early, and it curved foul, very similar to the hit or the contact that Brooks made over the first baseman's head. David, I'll be honest, I believe the hardest part has been doing the switcher.
Yeah, it's hard to remember that for sure.
I do apologize in advance for anybody who's watching.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Joseph Webb trying to get out of the 4th. 4 runs on the board. There's a strikeout right there. Ring him up. He does. He did swing, and that is out number 3. But the Admirals put 4 on the board in the bottom of the 4th. We go to the top of the 5th here at Farragut, the ballpark at Farragut in the District 4 baseball tournament. The Wildcats on top, 8-4. And we'll be back to Farragut in a moment. David Clary back here along with James Branson on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate Ed Hudson for paying the TSSAA rights fee. Beginning for the Admirals, the Wildcats put 8 on the board in the second. They put 4 to cut the lead in half in the bottom of the 4th, and now the Wildcats have got to go back to work, James.
Number 13, Jaden Sheverton.
Wildcats go back to work here. It's going to be the bottom of their order that is going to get us started here. Jaden Sheverton, Cam Welch, and I believe Whit Reniger. They were the ones kind of kept the lineup moving as we had that big second inning.
Jaden is 1 for 2 in the ball game. Had a perfectly placed bunt single, scored a run in that second inning, also grounded out to second to end the second inning. Takes a strike, no balls and 1 strike. 5th inning, 8-4 Wildcats. Jaden hits the ball foul. Going back to the field house once again. And the count is 0-2.
Jaden is sophomore. He's been a little bit of a utility player for the Wildcats. Played the middle infield, short and second. He's also designated hit and pitched in some key moments, especially as a closer, 6th and 7th inning for Oak Ridge.
2 strikes to him. Swings and he misses, and that is a strikeout. They asked for help, and he said no. Wildcats might have gotten the break there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he went all the way around there. But it was a low pitch, kind of broke there right before the plate, and Jaden having to decide whether he was going to swing or not.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Jaden Sheverton. I saw his little brother earlier. They could be carbon copies of one another. I don't know what grade he's in, but they look exactly the same. That's outside a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So you have 2 brothers that are coming up. Jaden's little brother, who's in 8th grade at Robertsville currently, and Warren's little brother, who will be here next year as well.
Okay, good. Good to hear the pipeline is continuing. 2-2 pitch to Jaden. Fouls it, just barely tinked off the bat and went back to the netting, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wonder if there will be any bullying or anything like that by the older brothers when the younger brothers come up, or if that'll be done off-site.
Most likely off-site. I think Mama will probably take care of that herself. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch to Jaden. That's up high. Ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Wildcats have got to get back to work offensively. I talk about it. Joe got hit pretty hard that inning, and maybe he can settle down just a bit. He's had some long innings when the Wildcats have batted, And we'll ask Jeff what the pitch count is in a moment. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch, hit foul again, stays alive, hits the netting, and Dylan ducks. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Sophomore Jaden's really patient as a hitter. He sees a lot of 2-2, 3-2 counts, and, we have another 3-2 count here, forcing the Farragut pitchers to throw a lot of pitches. The Wildcats in a good position pitching-wise because they only used Mikey Teasley yesterday and Carson Fagan for 1 at-bat.
Sophomore Cheverton back in, 3-2 pitch, upcoming, nobody on, nobody out, pitch. Ripped to center field. Center fielder on it, though, makes the catch for out number 1. Better now will be Cheeto, Cam Welch. He walked, picked up an RBI, and scored a run. Also grounded out to short, so he is 0 for 1 in the ballgame. Relief pitcher has done a much better job than the starting pitcher for sure. Both they've had 2 relief guys, and they've kind of kept the Wildcats down.
Yeah, I believe this will be he's already at his second full inning. Might see another batter or 2 here. Just wonder how many pitches they're going to let him throw for Farragut.
Cam takes a strike at the knees, and the count is 0-1. 1 out, nobody aboard. 8-4, the Wildcats trying to get to the championship ball game and earn a right to head to the regional tournament. But to do that, they've got to keep the Admirals at bay for 3 more innings. Pitch to Cam. Low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's been another borderline pitch there down low as I believe it is Harris does a really good job of framing the pitches for him. Tried to do it there, but it was called a ball.
Welch, one of the 5 seniors, back in. Pitched him, hit it on the ground, up the middle. It's going to be fielded by the shortstop behind the bag, and he throws Cam Welch out for out number 2. So the Wildcats going quickly the last several innings, and that is the second out. And the batter for the Wildcats now will be Whit Reniger.
Contact both for Cam and Jaden. Just need to be placed a little bit differently to get on base as Whit Reniger is going to step in, as you said, the designated hitter for Oak Ridge today. I believe he's been on base 1 time.
He walked and stole a base, also struck out looking. Officially 0 for 1 in the ball game. 2 outs, nobody aboard. Brooks Poteet on deck, but there are 2 outs in the 5th. Hit foul down the left field line. Got around on it late and almost got a double out of the process, but well foul. We'll have a post-game show afterwards. We appreciate all of our sponsors. Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance. Make sure I still have sound working. Yep. A little concern there for a moment. We've got our extension cord running all the way from the press box down to our broadcast as the ball is hit foul back to the screen. Yeah, we're broadcasting, same place we were, and I wanted to do that because we won the last time we were here. We're broadcasting right up against the net, basically, on the third base side. No balls and 2 strikes. Need a shutdown inning from Joe after a kind of a rocky 4th. Whit trying to get on base here, and he hits the ball to left field, but not very deep. It's going to be caught for out number 3. So the Wildcats go in order in the 5th. We go to the bottom half of the inning. Oak Ridge on top of the Admirals, 8-4. We'll be back to Farragut in a moment. Welcome back once again to Farragut, the ballpark at Farragut on this Saturday, almost noon in West Knox County. 8-4 Wildcats. First man leads off and takes a strike from Joseph Webb. One strike the count, the pitch, hit foul, out of play once again. James, you've got the Farragut book. Who's batting for them?
Batting now is the first baseman, number 3, Caleb Van Lant. He flew out to Carson Fagan.
Joseph, 2-strike pitch. Inside corner but low. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. 8-4, we're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Wildcats still with a 4-run lead, but Wildcat offense has kind of gone quiet. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Joe. Cut on a miss. He'll take a seat. That's out number 1. And that's a good start for Joseph Webb, who had a rocky 4th inning. Gets the leadoff man to strike out. That's out number 1.
Out number 1, and that is Joe's 3rd strikeout. He struck out 2 in the previous inning and starts off this inning with a strikeout. Batting now, the shortstop, number 1, Braxton Ty, flew out to Warren in the first at bat.
Pitch to him is high and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball hit foul. Out of play over to the right side. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody aboard. Farragut batting in the 5th inning. Joe Webb winds the pitch. Ooh, they asked for help. He did not swing. And the count is 2-1. Parker Freeze, the catcher, has gone all the way. Obviously, the infield and outfield the same. 2-1 pitch. Ripped, center field. Warren East is there, though. And the junior makes the catch on a line drive out, and that's out number 2 here in the 5th inning. Ball hit right on the button, but out.
For Ty there, as coming up toward bat for Farragut, the catcher, number 33, Jake Harris.
In the 6th inning, the Wildcats will have the number 9 hitter, Brooks Poteet, then back to the top of the order. Joe trying to keep it right where it is at 8-4. 2 outs, nobody aboard. Pitch. Outside. And the count is 1-0. That beard just scared that young man, James. Ball hit on the ground, up the middle. That's going to be a base hit into center field. Joe tried to get his glove down on it, but it went scooting past him, and that's a single, a 2-out single for the Admirals.
The Admirals, that is the 2nd time that Harris has been on base. He walked in his previous at bat and obviously hit that single. Stepping in now for Farragut, the right fielder, number 8, Aiden Flagg.
Flag the batter. Runner at first base, 2 outs. Pitch to Joe. Started to swing, held back, and the pitch was inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 8-4 Wildcats as the Admirals bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. Joseph Webb has gone all the way for the Wildcats, trying to get his 3rd out here. There's a called strike at the belt. Outer half of the plate evens the count at 1-1.
Flagg grounded out to Mikey in his first at bat, and in his second at bat, he walked.
Great crowd on hand here at Farragut for this morning ball game. 1-1 pitch, low and outside. Don't want to walk anybody. That's when he got in trouble in the previous inning when he gave up the 4 runs. Pitch to contact. Joe, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Hear Warren say, "Trust your defense. We got your back."
Called strike at the belt. He ducked as the pitch went through. I think the Farragut fans thought it was high, but as the ball came in, it was at belt level, and he kind of dropped, and he's catching it from the coaching staff at Farragut.
Yeah, and the umpires kind of called that a strike all day for both sides, really.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Joe trying to end the 5th right here. He does not on that pitch. Down low with it, and we got a full count again. Don't want to give more base runners. They've got power. They can get right back in the ball game. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Joseph Webb has the sign from Parker, and he steps off the rubber, and wind blowing a little stiffer from right to center. As we look out at the American flag around the scoreboard from the ballpark at Farragut.
Joe about to throw his 82nd pitch of the game here.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch. Ball 4. Home run here. We've got a 1-run ball game. Wildcats, easily the first 2 guys were retired, but a single and now a walk, and the tying run is on the on-deck circle.
Number 26, Williams.
Williams, the batter now for the Admirals, lefty. What has he done today?
Left fielder, number 26, Nayland Williams, has flown out to Carson, and he walked in his last at bat.
Is it Nayland or Neelan?
I think it's Neyland, but our PA announcer keeps saying Nayland.
Pitch. That's up high. 1 ball, no strikes. The big guy's on deck. Wildcats trying to get Joe through this inning. Approaching 90 pitches, as you said. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at first and second in an 8-4 ball game. I've said it all along. You can never count these Admirals out. Webb checks the runner, working from the stretch, taking a while. Comes to the plate. Hit on the ground. Third base side, foul. Mikey gives it a look. And the count is 1-1.
Really good job backing up Joe behind him. Kind of tallying these up right here. It looks like we've had 8 flyouts, 9 flyouts. Joe's had 3 strikeouts so far. So really good job defensively for the Wildcats. No errors.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2 errors were big for the Wildcats' 8-run inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch. Called strike 2. At the belt. It's a good call by the umpire. He's right at the belt, right down the center of the plate. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe's a right-handed throwing pitcher. Ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on in an 8-4 ball game. Joe working from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Off to the left side and just misses a car. I don't know why you would want to park your car so close. We've already had 1 car get dinged pretty good right behind us. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Although where we're parked, you know, it's going to be a hike. It's almost to the high school. If anybody's been to the field, it's a pretty good walk up Welch Boulevard. 1-2 pitch. For that, time is asked for.
As you mentioned, Brummett Jr. on deck for them. He struck out in his last at bat, but walked in his first at bat. That was the inning that Cheeto turned the double play.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not a bad idea. Tried to get him to go fishing for it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Thank you for watching. We appreciate Ed Hudson paying the TSSAA rights fee so we can broadcast our ball game today. Longtime supporter, a volunteer at the Boys Club. Good family. 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. The tying run is on deck, and he's a big dude. Joe doesn't want to see him. He wants to see him in the 6th inning.
Wildcats have a lot of pitching left that they can use. Carson Fagan, Jaden Cheverton, Jonah Wolf some, I believe.
Joe Webb, 3-2 pitch. Ripped in the left field. That's a base hit. Carson comes up with it. They're going to score their 5th run of the game. And the throw comes in. It's 8-5. And the tying run comes to the plate.
Nice at bat there by Williams. Just able to get it over the glove of Mikey Teasley there at third base. Carson Fagan coming up ready to throw. Got it into Noah Wood, I believe, here covering third. So no runners advanced on the single. But you end up with flag at second base, Williams at first base, and stepping in now, Travis Brummett Jr., the designated hitter. He is their fourth place hitter. He struck out in his last at bat and walked in his first at bat.
5 unanswered runs by the Admirals. Tying run at the plate with a guy with a lot of power. Pitch from Joe, hit foul. Coming back out of play, and the count is 0-1. I told you cannot count these Admirals out. When it was 8-0, I was saying a lot of baseball to be played, and it's obvious, just a 3-run ball game.
Even the game that we played here, Wildcats jumped out to a big lead, and I think won 11-4.
That pitch a little outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and second. A run in. 8-5. 5 unanswered runs by the Admirals as they bat in the 5th inning. Joseph has the sign from Parker. Here's the pitch. Ball outside. I know he doesn't want to give him anything to hit because he's a big guy. He has labored the last 2 innings. Got the first 2 guys out pretty quickly this inning. 2-1 pitch. Foul tipped. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pretty good rip there by Brummett, but foul tip, and the count is 2-2.
As to your point there, David, this is kind of the middle of the order there. This is where the Wildcats got in a little bit of trouble the last inning with several walks, and then obviously the home run. But if Joe could finish this off here, he would set himself up pretty well for the 6th and 7th inning, batting-wise.
Brummett back in, big left-hander. Now a little conversation. Parker's going to wander out and have words with Joseph. What's the pitch count up to? I know in high school ball you can only pitch, is it 120?
120, I believe.
And he was pushing 80, and he's got to be right at the 100 mark.
I would say somewhere right, had a longer at bat there, a full count at bat for the previous batter, Williams, and that put him close to 90 with 4 pitches here already. I'd say somewhere around 95.
94. So here's 95 coming up in a moment. You're pretty good there, James.
I can math sometimes. Adding is a lot easier than most other things.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at first and second. In an 8-5 ball game, the Wildcats on top. Winner plays in the championship ball game and advances to the region. Pitch to Brummett. Just outside. It was a good pitch, but it was a ball. It was outside. Full count now.
Brummett not expanding his zone. I believe that it was a very similar situation with a full count in Brummett's last at bat, and Joe was able to strike him out.
Go ahead run in the on-deck circle. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, 1 in. Joe steps off and a little bothered. 8-5 the Wildcats trying to hold on. Wildcats scored all 8 of their runs in the second.
Both fan bases here getting into it now, David.
Webb has the sign from Parker, 3-2 pitch. Go sit down, young man. Go take a seat. That is strikeout swinging, and that is out number 3. Big, big pitch, big, big strikeout by Joseph Webb, and we remain at 8-5. Big, big pitch right there by Joseph Webb.
Great job by Joe. Does exactly what he did in the previous at-bat with Brummett Jr., able to shut the door there on those opportunities, leave 2 stranded at first and second, as the Wildcats will have the back end of their order. I believe it'll be Brooks Poteet, and then turn it over to the top of the lineup.
Appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989. And I say this whenever I get a chance to broadcast, they encourage other classes, not just them, to get involved not only in athletics but in academics, and just support the community. The class of '89 has done a lot, and they've been with us in football, basketball, and baseball, and we appreciate them. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Todd Fox Insurance Group. He's been with us with football, basketball, and baseball, as has Laura Lynn Green. East Tennessee Spine and Sport, Donnie Sharp, former Wildcat pitcher, along with Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty, the Fagan family, the Haddocks, and, of course, Ed Hudson.
Appreciate all of our sponsors that make this happen. football and basketball are a little bit different. There's kind of a, one game a week or two games a week. Baseball, you can play 3, 4, 5 games a week depending on tournament play. And those people that come out and support them, we really appreciate them and would encourage other people to go seek those businesses out as well.
We go to the 6th inning, 8-5. The Wildcat offense, James, needs to get back to work.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow past couple of innings for Oak Ridge. Had runners at second 2 times, just not able to come up with the hits that they did there in the previous set turns around the lineup. But that big second inning was huge. Wildcats able to jump on top. It looks like we'll have Kreiner back in on the mound for Farragut here. He's pitched the last 2 2/3 innings, I believe.
Long throw down to second, and we're about to get set for the 6th inning. It'll be, as James mentioned, Brooks Poteet leading things off. Brooks walked, a bases-loaded walk, picked up an RBI, scored a run, struck out looking his last time. Then it'll be Warren and Parker, the scheduled 3, as we bat here in the 6th. Here at Farragut, the ballpark at Farragut, in this winner's bracket ball game between 2 teams that have had very successful seasons this year. Farragut has had a successful century, honestly. As Brooks steps in, he's a lefty facing the right-handed thrower. 8-5 Wildcats. The pitch, cut on a miss. Count is 0-1.
Talking about, in the early 2000s or so, there was kind of that vintage throwback game. Looking at the uniforms today, Farragut in their pinstripes, you usually think about them wearing those pinstripe colors, and Oak Ridge kind of in that cardinal top. It looks like one of those older games that you like to see.
Yeah. I remember as a pitch to Brooks is down low. I remember a game, I think it was Morgan Guyman was wearing those baggy Ty Cobb era kind of jerseys and doing the little kind of weird wind-up they did back in the 20s and 30s. I remember that most. I remember Coach Froning trying to teach him how to do that so he would look the part in one of these.
Did that they were able to work that out and have that kind of old school series.
Ball ripped to right field. It's deep. It is going. It is off the wall. Brooks Poteet at first, heading towards second. It's a leadoff double off the wall by Brooks Poteet. And a good start for the Wildcats here in the 6th inning.
What a shot by Brooks Poteet. Not able to get the ball down over first base in his previous at bat, I believe. But Brooks Poteet coming on here late in the season, had a home run against Grace, had a single last night that helped the Wildcats. Really love to see that production increase there for him. And that was, right center field, right off the wall. That was drilled out there, David.
When he first hit it, I thought it had a chance to get out. He went about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway up the fence. Right fielder gave it a look. He knew he wasn't going to be able to catch up with it. Now you got your 3 guys at the top of the order, and the Wildcats could use some insurance right here. The lead has been cut to 8-5, 5 unanswered runs by the Admirals. Warren East, the batter. Warren squares to bunt, takes a strike. Warren had a single and knocked in 2. His other 2 have plate appearances. He has struck out swinging. He has 1 for 3 in the ball game. Let's see
Warren,
the third.
a pretty good bunter for the Wildcats, able to move people over and get in positions. But he's also got some speed. He could end up at first base if he lays down this bunt well.
Yeah, the third baseman's right on the grass. Warren behind in the count, 0-1. Runner at second, Brooks Poteet. Squares to bunt again and does bunt it. Up the third base line. Base hit, Warren, all day long. Warren just deadened that ball. The third baseman didn't really move. The pitcher had no chance. The grass deadened it. And moving over to third is Brooks Poteet. And the Wildcats have something going here in the 6th inning.
Really nice there by Warren, as we said, that he can run and get on base, and great bunt, forced the pitcher to come off the mound to get it. First baseman crashed over, and the second baseman wasn't going to get there either way if the throw was on target or not. So great job by Warren to move over Brooks, and hopefully Parker can capitalize on that here.
Parker 1 for 2 in the ballgame, had an infield single. He's walked and he's struck out. Good lead at first, runner at third. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. The Wildcats need some insurance. Warren draws a throw.
Nope.
Warren is most likely to go early. I know you don't want to pick up an out on the base pass early, but
Warren stole a base earlier, I believe, and Farragut kind of allowed him to have the base. It'll be interesting to see if they have some type of play to second or short. If Warren takes off to kind of maybe draw Brooks off of third, we'll see.
Parker in. The runner is going. The pitch. No throw. Stolen base. Second stolen base of the game for Warren. And the Wildcats have a couple runners in scoring position. Wildcats could use some insurance for sure. It's just a 3-run game. Farragut still has got 6 outs to play with. Got your leading home run guy at the plate. We don't need a home run here. A single would be perfect. 10 home runs on the year for Parker. Batting over 400 on the year. He's just had a phenomenal junior year. Rips it. It's going to get a run in. It's deep to center. Tagging at third is Brooks Poteet. And tagging from second and moving over to third is Warren East. And that is an RBI. Sacrifice fly. And the Wildcat lead is back up to 4. 9-5 the score. Sacrifice fly RBI. Parker free.
Nice job there by Parker to get that run in and move over Warren East there. Farragut was playing in on the infield there with Parker's power. I'd be a little bit worried about playing in on the infield, but wanting to get the out. Nice job there by Parker, though, as Mikey steps in for his at-bat with Warren at third.
Yeah, Mikey needs to get this run in, too. 9-5 Oak Ridge. The Wildcats scoring their first run since the second inning. Warren East, their base runner, at third base. Mikey Teasley had a double and knocked in 2. Swings and he misses there. Also flew out to right field and struck out in the first inning. We talked about, if you just tuned in, the Wildcats put 8 on the board in the second inning. In that first inning, the starting pitcher struck out Warren East, Parker Free, Mikey Teasley in succession. But in the second inning, an error, and then the floodgates open. Wildcats need to get this other run in. Ripped! There's going to get the run in. Tagging at third, in to score, and it's 10-5 Oak Ridge. The Wildcats get 2 insurance runs, and they're back on top of the Admirals by 5. That's an RBI, and a great play by the center fielder, by the way, who made a nice play, saving a hit, actually, but the run does come in to score.
Nice job by Mikey. Absolutely ripped on a line out to center field. Great job by Zane Qureshi-Smith out there, as looks like we could have a pitching change here for Farragut, or at least a conversation about it. But nice play by Zane Qureshi-Smith out there. If that ball gets past him, though, Mikey Teasley still might be running.
We do have a pitching change, and he did a great job. I mean, a good job in relief. Starting pitcher was great in the first inning, got tagged pretty well in the second, but the 2 guys that have come into the ball game since then have really done a good job to shut the Wildcats down until this inning. Wildcats, like I said, had not scored since the second inning. They've put 2 on the board, 2 huge insurance runs, and they lead at 10-5.
Looks like it'll be Wade coming in for Farragut to pitch right now. Wade is Wade is number 10. Looks like he's a lefty. Looks like it'll be the first lefty the Wildcats will have faced today. And so a little bit different delivery. Obviously, lefties usually have some type of a curveball movement, as they are able to get that spin a little bit easier. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors for the baseball game today, but also all season long, Laura Lynn Green, State Farm Insurance, as well as the Oak Ridge class of 1989. We would love for more people to get involved in the class of 1989 and the movement there. Chris Corwin does a great job with that group. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Todd Fox and the Fox Insurance Group, East Tennessee Spine and Sport, led up there by former Wildcat Donnie Sharp, and also another former Wildcat helping us out, Mike Kelly and Betsy Coleman Realty. Mike does a lot for the Oak Ridge program and community. We really appreciate his support. And the Fagan and Haddock family out in Texas and everything that they've been able to provide for the Oak Ridge baseball program.
Going to turn my mic off just for a second as we get ready. The Wildcats have put 2 on the board. They lead it 10-5 over Farragut here in this winner's bracket ball game from the ballpark at Farragut. We'll be back to Farragut in a moment. Welcome back once again to Farragut. The Wildcats 2 runs here in the 6th to up their lead to 10-5. Joseph Webb, the batter, right-handed hitter, facing the left-hander. Carson Fagan is on deck for the Wildcats. 10-5 Oak Ridge. Getting late. 6 more outs to play with. Ball's hit foul off the netting. Dylan's ducking someplace in Oak Ridge, probably at Blankenship right now. Appreciate Alex Myers and Mike Sheehan last night doing and that's part of the agreement. They do some of the home games. As the pitch to Joe is outside the ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ben George has helped us out this year, and we'll probably hear Ben's voice again at some point this season. Hopefully we have many more ball games to go. Ben, I appreciate your help, and Preston and Dylan and Preston Fetters, Dylan Woody, Caleb Jackson, Caleb Riker. Pitch, cut on and missed. And that is strike 2. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Couple sacrifice flies this inning. Wildcats. Brooks Poteet started the party. That pitch is down low with a booming double off the aluminum fence out near the 2010-2009 state championship balls out for the Farragut Admirals. Joe trying to help himself here. Nobody aboard. 3-2 pitch. Hit foul. Off the net once again. You know, we set these cameras up in harm's way, but knock on wood. There's no wood around me, but knock on wood. We haven't had anything damaged. We've got some pretty expensive equipment out here. Remember to switch the cameras. People keep telling me. No, they don't. I'm just telling you that, James. Hit foul again, once again. That's the hardest thing to do. I mean, usually I have 3 people on a crew.
It must be nice just to get to be able to talk, David, and not have to tweet and cameras and scoreboard.
I have to admit, I did do the technical setup here for the most part. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, I've been accused of that before. Joseph back in, 3-2 pitch. Hit foul again, staying alive. Good battle here between the pitcher and Joseph Webb. Carson's on deck. Carson's been on base a couple times today. His grandparents always listen to us down in Texas. We really appreciate them and the whole Fagan family we've gotten to know over the last 4 years. 3-2 pitch, hit again, foul. That was probably ball 4, but too close to take. McMinn County and Hardin Valley will play after this ball game. And I don't know if you ran down the schedule of upcoming ball games. Wildcats don't want to play until Tuesday in a championship ball game. No games tomorrow at all. 3-2 pitch to Joe. Hit down the line, foul. Up the third base line and just foul. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Joe doing a really good job of battling in this at bat here. Fouled off, I believe, 4 different pitches. Seeing a lot of the pitcher's pitches here puts you in a better position as a hitter, I believe.
3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. I agree with you. Before we go any farther, too, maybe the Wildcats can get something going with Carson. Let's send a shout-out to our friends who are at Blankenship Field today doing some cleanup work. We got the courtesy runner, Kipton Fagan, running. The painting, doing some cleanup, and Sue Woody, who's the vice president of the Football Boosters, has organized several groups, Jefferson, Robertsville, and the cheerleaders, a lot of people involved. Hats off to them, and if you're watching our broadcast now, we appreciate your work trying to make Blankenship Field beautiful. We need the city to contribute a little money too, but as there's a called strike to Carson, but hats off to them.
Yeah, David, I was about to say, we really appreciate the booster clubs doing stuff like that, but also organizing with Robertsville and Jefferson and all the other groups that utilize it. That's a great space that we have here. We're very fortunate to have that in Oak Ridge, and having all those people to support and build community there is awesome.
Kipton takes his lead off of first. Carson back in, 1 strike to him. He's going, and there's a stolen base. Kipton has his 2nd stolen base of the ball game, and Carson's got an even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. James, at between innings, I want to talk football with you. I know you're a member of the Oak Ridge coaching staff. I know spring practice is well underway. I want to talk a little football with you if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 in, 10-5. The Wildcats on top. Jaden Cheverton on deck for the Wildcats. Pitch to Carson. There's a called strike, inner half. And the count is 1-2.
Harris for Farragut does a really good job. I know I've said it a couple times here, but being able to snap those pitches back up into the zone, make it look like more of a strike here. Want to shout out all the people that are viewing us right now. David, we have about 630 viewers on our broadcast, so really appreciate you guys tuning in to us.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That's a lot. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second. Senior Carson Fagan back in. 1-2 pitch. Hit foul. Kind of stayed alive with a high pitch, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. It might be for right now a big. I mean, that's one of our bigger audiences for a continuing game for baseball.
That's total views. I think currently viewing is right around 200, but still.
Well, that's still a lot.
People tuning in, we really appreciate that.
Especially on a Saturday afternoon. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch, hit foul. A laser shot. Bounce took a nice convenient hop. There's about 5 people sitting on the grass over there. The ball bounced right in front of them and just cleared the top of their heads.
Carson doing a nice job there, just kind of poking that bat and the barrel out there just to get enough of it to continue the at-bat. Carson, a really good patient hitter. Wildcats really have a lot of patience up and down the lineup here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, hit well. Center field. Center fielder on, makes the catch for out number 3. But a couple sacrifice flies by Parker Free and Mikey Teasley score Warren East and Brooks Poteet. Little insurance for the Wildcats as they head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 10-5, the Wildcats in the lead. I see Coach Kevin McKeithen. He's a member of the Oak Ridge football staff. James, you are as well, former Wildcat player. You started spring practice. How things going to this point?
Things are going really well. I think was talking to Coach Gaddis the other day, last night I believe, and had probably our best day of spring practice, I think, on Thursday. Obviously, only being out there 3 days, but we look pretty crisp. Got a lot of new players coming in, which is good, and got a lot of new guys that are going to be contributing. We lose a good senior class, but the production that's coming in, we've only got, I believe, around 10 seniors or so, so looking for a lot of production from the sophomores and juniors.
You know, one thing that, in this era of portals and transfers, there's a new transfer rule. It takes effect June the 1st, I believe. But we have gotten several transfers who have moved into town and are, for various reasons that are going to fill in some of the spots from that senior class a year ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned a couple of those guys. Branson Newberry comes down from
Science Hill, scored a touchdown against us.
Yes, he did, and really fast guy. He's on the track team right now. He runs around 11-second 100 and around 22-second 200, so looking for him to be a productive guy in that position.
If you line him and Will Presley up, who would win?
Honestly, I like Will and Will's speed, but Branson might get him.
You just like him because his name is Branson.
That's true. But we have a couple other guys coming in as well. Brendan Oliver from Illinois. Got a guy from Jeremiah Stevens. He'll be a sophomore coming in from Alabama. So, and we got a lot of good returning guys coming in that are going to help us, especially on the defense as well.
Well, here we go in the bottom of the 6th inning. Farragut down 5 again. Wildcats led at one time by 8. A couple big insurance runs. The Wildcats have Cheeto out on the mound now. The first pitch from him is fouled out of play.
This is batting for Farragut. Zane Koreshi-Smith, the center fielder, made 2 of those catches out there in the previous inning. He flied out to Carson, and then he also lined out to Brooks Poteet.
Pitch hit foul again. The last time Cam Welch was on the hill for the Wildcats, he pitched a no-hitter at Gibbs, won that game 6-0. 2 no-hitters in the same season. One by Mikey Teasley and the other by this guy, Cam Welch, who takes over for Joseph Webb, who was right at 100 pitches, and it was time. Cam trying to close out and probably will go the final 2 as that pitch is high and outside. Cam brings a lot to the table. He started out late. He was injured early on and didn't get a chance to hit the rotation and play until basically the game before we went to Alabama. That pitch is outside. but he's produced a really good record. He is 5-1 on the mound. This is not his game unless he can nail down a save. He's got a 2-ball, 2-strike count on the leadoff man. Cut on a miss. He'll take a seat. Parker tags him out. That's out number 1, and a good start for Camden Welch.
Really good start there for Cam. Would love to have him continue to come in and shut down the rest of this inning, get the final 2 outs. Would be interesting to see if the Wildcats maybe brought Carson in or maybe went Jaden to maybe save Cam's arm for a little bit later in the week.
I'm looking at Cam's mother off to my left, and I read a stat one time or something that when your son walks into a ball game, and I know your son plays much smaller, obviously, at ball 1. When your son walks into a game to go pitch, the heart rate is the same as if you're being chased by a bear.
Yeah, my wife tends to get way more nervous than I do at those types of things, but this is kind of casual when you're just a casual fan watching.
Cam's mother Jamie is she's got her head covered, but she's got her legs kind of stretched out. You're watching her baby boy pitch. Of course, his swung on a miss. His older brother, Kyron Welch, was a catcher, third baseman for us, infielder for the Wildcats a couple of years ago. Played on that first state tournament team. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. We're in the 6th. Welch trying to close it out. Got 2 more innings to go, 5 more outs to play with. Do the Admirals have? Down 5.
Wildcats did a really nice job in the top of the 6th there, getting 2 more runs to add to their total.
Ball 2, a little outside. What is his best pitches?
I know that Coach Freeze talked about he's got this kind of slurve that he throws that the break on it is pretty diagonal. Not sure how much Cam had time to work on that as much. I know he had a little bit of a hand surgery earlier in the year, but love to see that come back.
2-2 pitch, hit in the air. Carson Fagan, he says he's got it. Guess what? That senior's got it. Out number 2. 2 outs here in the 6th inning in a 10-5 ball game. Good decision to take Joe out. Joe was tiring for sure. Joe throws hard and got on base a couple times, but Cam Welch has retired the first 2 guys he's faced. I'm not sure exactly what the conversation now is taking place, but Farragut coach talking with the umpire. They've got 2 guys warming up in their bullpen for the 7th inning, it would appear.
Yeah, it looks like Brummett Jr. down there is warming up for them. Their big designated hitter, the guy that pitched against the Wildcats at Oak Ridge. Carson Fagan, been busy out there in left field today. I believe 5 fly balls that he's taken, and he backed up Mikey on one of those balls that got over Mikey's head.
Have you been able to switch cameras so the grandparents in Amarillo, Texas can see it?
I did on that one.
They'll appreciate that. I know they just, anytime any grandparent can hear their grandkids' names, that's all that matters to them. I'm sure they'd love to see them, but just knowing that they're doing well, and that pitch is a ball. Who's this batting? Strike 1.
This is Cole Kreisman stepping in here. Kreisman struck out and then grounded out to Cam when he was playing first base.
Pitch to him is hit in the air again to left field. A longer run this time for Carson. And can't quite get to it. He's out of my view. Down by the dugout's kind of blocking my view. But the good news is it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Carson's going to sleep well tonight.
He'll sleep well tonight. Hopefully all of the Wildcats will sleep well tonight if we can finish out the top of the bottom of this 6th inning and then head to the 7th inning.
They've all been up a long time, James, because they had 7:15 batting practice today over at Bobby Hopkins.
For sure, and they were getting that ready last night as the game ended with Bearden last night to kind of cut down some of that prep time.
High and tight. Hello. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody aboard for the Admirals as they bat in the 6th. Oak Ridge on top, 10-5. I still think we need some runs in the 7th inning. Cheeto to the plate. Low and outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Walks were a problem for Joe. Walks were a problem for the starting pitcher for the Admirals.
Yeah, and really allowed those runs to score early for Oak Ridge. I believe we had a couple 4 or 5 walks there, but most of those were like 3-2 counts.
Hit foul again. Over towards Kingston Pike off of the little pine trees that are dotting the Welch Boulevard, named for a really nice guy. This street was. He was in charge of the football press box for as long as I can remember, even the days when I was in high school. Passed away along with his wife. 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. So they've got some life here in the 6th inning. A 2-out walk. And who's batting now?
Up now for Farragut is Caleb Van Lant, number 3. He's the first baseman for the Admirals. He struck out in his last at-bat and flew out to Carson Fagan in his first at-bat. So 0 for 2 on the day so far. We'll see what Cheeto can do with Van Lant here.
They say we have only 6 hits. I think we've got more than that, to be honest with you. That's what they have up on the scoreboard, unless I'm reading that wrong. That pitch is on the inside half of the plate. Count is 0-1.
You know, listening to the songs in between the top and bottom of the innings there, I don't think Coach Gaddis is going to like Farragut much more than he likes our press box people that play Sweet Carolina in between those innings, as Cheeto's able to throw a strike across the plate there. 0-2 count here as he faces Van Lant.
I just counted up. They do have 6. So it just seems like a lot more.
We've had a lot of traffic on the bases, a lot of walks.
No balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first. Cheeto's pitch outside. And the count is 1-2. In the top of the 7th, we'll have Cheverton, Welch, and Reniger, the scheduled 3 hitters in Coach Travis Free's lineup. Ball hit on the ground. 1 hop. Long throw. Got him. Mikey Teasley displays that arm despite 100-plus pitches last night. That is out number 3. We go to the top of the 7th inning here at the ballpark at Farragut. You're listening to Oak Ridge Baseball on Prep Radio. It's 10-5 Oak Ridge. We'll be back. Actually, you have anybody on the chat that's joined us here recently?
Got a couple people here. Currently, 165 viewers. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. Close to 700 total viewers. I don't believe there's any new people in the chat, but we do appreciate you all listening from as far as Fort Worth, Texas, and Connecticut down to Chattanooga, all over the place. That is one thing that is nice about having all these games available is during football and basketball and baseball season, you get views from everywhere, I'm sure, David. What is the weirdest place that you've ever seen a viewer from?
Germany, Japan. Military guys. We've had them from South Korea before. So in Guam, obviously, this year Guam because of Max's family down in Guam. But I love having the military people watching us from all over the globe. Back in the day, we had some from Afghanistan in some football games. You probably remember that.
Being able to have this ability to do this is pretty amazing. And
except for Dobbins Bennett, which has not gotten in the 21st century yet. I mean, with all the great things that Dobbins Bennett offers academics, big school, funding from Eastman Kodak, they do not allow streaming. And we have a great relationship with them, but for whatever reason, they are not promoting their kids as well as I think they should. But I'm very biased here.
Well, and then being able to promote them against good talent like Oak Ridge has, and like we saw a couple weeks ago up at Elder High School, bringing some guys down there as well. Looks like Wade is back out on the mound for Farragut, the lefty. Once again, he'll face Jaden Cheverton as we start the top of the 7th inning here.
Jaden had a bunt single, scored a run. Since that time, he's grounded out to second and flew out to center field. Top of the 7th, 10-5 Oak Ridge. Region berth on the line for the Wildcats here today at Farragut, and a chance to win a district championship, as the Wildcats won't have to play until Tuesday, I believe. You had the schedule there earlier. I don't know. Ball's hit well, but foul. You know, I've been very impressed. Last year, and you can just physically, and he's still not a big guy, but last year, Jaden just looked like a little kid. He was a freshman for the Wildcats, but he has gotten bigger, and I really like the way he swings the bat.
He does a really good job, just a sophomore here for the Wildcats, but really help lock down some of that middle infield as well.
That pitch down low. Do you have the schedule? Do you remember the schedule?
Oak Ridge would play on Tuesday. It was a lot of game winner of this, game winner of that, so I wasn't exactly sure. But either way, if Oak Ridge wins, they will play Tuesday. If we lose, we play Monday.
McMinn County and Hardin Valley will be playing after us. I'll let you Look at that. 3 balls and 1 strike to Jaden. Be great to get a few more insurance runs. And the Admirals, that we saw them put 4 on the board in their big inning. The Wildcats had an 8-run inning. Jaden takes ball 4. Good eye by the sophomore, and that's a great start for the Wildcats here in the 7th. Ooh.
Nice job there by Chevy as he is able to get on base there. Jaden's got some speed with him as well as Camden Welch, the pitcher, is going to step up to bat for the Wildcats, the senior. Hopefully he can help the Wildcats, help himself out here a little bit, and move the line on along.
I thought we might see a pitching change here. There was some movement from the bullpen, and the coach now is at the top of the steps of their dugout. Runner at first, nobody out. 7th inning, 10-5. The Wildcats on top of the Admirals, trying to get to a championship ball game where somebody would have to beat Oak Ridge twice to win the district championship. Would it be Farragut? Whether it be Bearden? Whether it be Hardin Valley? Whether it be McMinn County? Those are the other teams still alive.
And again, David, I know we've mentioned it, but winning this game really puts you in a position to not have it to use as many pitchers and be able to rest your guys. The more games you play, the more pitchers you have to use, the less you have in the championship series.
Cool breeze blowing. Cam squares to bunt with 1 strike. Jaden draws a throw over at first. 10-5 Oak Ridge. We're in the 7th inning. We started this game at 10 o'clock this morning. It's about 12:30. About a 2.5-hour broadcast on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, sponsored by some great people. And one individual paid our rights fee. That's Ed Hudson. Paid to TSSAA Blood Money. Here's the pitch to Cam. Hit on the ground, up the middle. It could be a double play. They've got 1, it's 2, and there is the double play. Ball was just hit perfectly, and unfortunately, the Wildcats sent the runner, and the ball was hit right to the bag, and they had the easy force out at second and the easy throw back to first for the double play.
Did have the easy force out there, but at least Jaden was running on that, hoping that maybe he could get there before stepping on the base. But that's the second ball that Cam has hit right back up the middle there, just been fielded pretty well by their infielders. Stepping in now will be Noah Wood for Whit Reniger. Noah has been playing shortstop today. If Noah can get on base, that would bring up Brooks Poteet.
Noah very solid. Hasn't really had a whole lot to do today in this ball game. Very solid. Good hitter, too. He and Witt and Chevy and Jonah Wolf, they kind of trade off in those middle infield positions. And Coach Free does a really good job, I think, at getting a lot of people playing time.
And Jonah Wolf as well.
Yeah, just what I mean. Jonah, he transferred from Grace, has done a really good job. You didn't see him pitch. He started the ball game against Jefferson County when we were up in Kingsport. He pitched great. I mean, honestly, we just couldn't get the bats going that day.
Jonah's come in several relief efforts on the home games that I've seen in that kind of 5th, 6th inning area.
His dad will tell you, go eat at Aubrey's after the game. That pitch is down low. He's one of the managers, or the manager at Aubrey's in Oak Ridge. Good to have him here. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th. The Admirals need 5 to tie, 6 to win. Kind of a tough task, but they can do it. We saw them put 4 on the board in 1 inning. 1-2 pitch to Noah, cut on a miss. And that is strike 3, and that is out number 3. So here we go, James Branson. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Wildcats 3 outs away from a region tournament berth and a championship ball game in the District 4.
Yeah, David, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see who the Wildcats bring out here. If they looks like we'll be sticking with Camden on the mound here, and Cam will face, I believe, Braxton Ty. And then back to the top of the order, Jake Harris, Aiden Flagg.
I'm going to turn off the mic here because the music is playing, and that's one of the songs that gets us thrown off. 10-5 Oak Ridge, back for the bottom of the 7th in a minute. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Admirals trailing the Wildcats 10-5. The 8-run inning in the 2nd inning, the big inning for the Wildcats, and they've been playing catch-up ever since. They had an opportunity. They had the tying run to the plate at one point in this game, but the Wildcats a couple insurance runs an inning ago, 2 innings ago, and to build the lead back up to 5. Who's batting?
Batting now for Farragut, the shortstop, number 1, Braxton Ty.
What has he done today?
Braxton has flown out to Warren East at center field both times.
Takes a strike. Camden Welch, senior. One of 5 seniors, as I mentioned. Swings and he misses. That's strike 2. Cam Welch, Mikey Teasley, Tri Sharp, Dylan Skeen, and I was about to make it dramatic, Carson Fagan. And Carson Fagan, of course. Grandparents listening, we got to remember that. Ball hit foul. Over towards our camera. Somewhere. We might have a camera there. I would have loved, if we weren't playing Farragut all the time here, I would love to put a camera up on that hill. It would be a really good shot, but they just overload it. 0-2 pitch, that's outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Farragut dugout got pretty excited when they put the 4 runs on the board and then added a single run to make it an 8-5 ball game. But those 2 runs have kind of silenced them, and he's sitting down. That is out number 1. The Wildcats 2 outs away from the championship game of the District 4.
Really nice job there by Cam, just going straight after Ty. Only 1 ball thrown, I think 5 pitches in that at bat. Really nice job there by him as Farragut brings the top of the order back up. This is Jake Harris stepping in, the catcher. He flew out to Carson Fagan in his first at-bat, walked and singled in his last 2 at-bats.
I know we got people watching at Blankenship Field. Thank you very much for your work there. Wildcats doing good work here. Oh, tough hop. Mikey, ball was hit to him hard, took a little bit of a skip as it got to him, and it goes in to left field, and that'll be a single.
As it looked like it kind of hit off the lip of the grass and dirt there as Mikey was trying to play it, and Mikey just trying to get his face out of the way of that ball there. Carson coming in to back him up to make sure the runner doesn't advance to second. Nice job by Carson out there.
Joseph Webb started the ball game, pitched the first 5 innings. Cam Welch came in the 6th and trying to close it out here in the 7th. 1 out, 10-5 the score. Runner at first. Cam Welch, big senior. Joe is the first baseman. That pitch is just a bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. You've got Jaden Sheverton at second, the shortstop Noah Wood, Mikey Teasley at third. 1-0 pitch. That's outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Aiden Flagg is your batter for Farragut right now. Grounded out to Mikey in his first at-bat and then walked in his last 2 at-bats.
2 balls and no strikes. Carson Fagan in left, Warren East in center, Brooks in right. There's a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out, 10-5. Appreciate Alex and Mike doing the ball game for me. I was had a long week in Atlanta. Appreciate that. Hit foul. Back out of play. And he's battled back to a 2-2 count.
Has seen a lot of pitches today, David. Like you said, he's walked 2 times, so hasn't seen Camden just yet, so first time facing Cam.
Appreciate Ed Hudson for sponsoring our game today. There's a pitch. There's a ball. Parker did a good job kind of bringing it down into the strike zone, but it was high. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Don't want to walk anybody.
It's one of those borderline pitches we've talked about all day.
3-2 pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Wildcats give it a look, but it's well foul. Over in that same little group that almost got tagged with a foul ball earlier. Some youngsters retrieve the ball, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Welch checks the runner, 3-2 pitch, hit foul again. Off one of the poles holding the netting here at Farragut, the ballpark at Farragut. What a classy name for a classy program.
Really cool name. Seeing some shifting out here in the outfield as Flagg has kind of fouled a lot of these off to the right side. So Warren's shifting over a little bit.
Go sit down. Out number 2. Takes the 3rd strike. 1 more out, and the Wildcats are headed to the region tournament.
What do I know, David? Let's just trust Cam and not worry about shifting anybody around.
And here comes Coach Travis Free. He says, the rest of you guys, stay at your position. I'm just going to go out and tell my senior, you got this, big guy. Cam's pitched in a lot of great games for us over the last couple of years, a couple starts at the state tournament the last 2 years, some big games, faced some little adversity to start this year, had some surgery, had some stitches, missed a lot of action to start the season, but he's come back strong, pitched a no-hitter the last time he pitched against Gibbs, and he's trying to close it out and send Oak Ridge. Now, I don't know what the umpires are talking about, but trying to send Oak Ridge to the championship ball game and the region tournament.
Yeah, Cam's done a great job when he's come in here. I wonder if Coach Free, I know one of the things he's talked about before is like he likes to have discussions with Cam about how to attack certain hitters. Obviously, you got a lefty here coming up with Nayland Williams, who will be the next batter for Farragut, the left fielder. Flew out to Carson Fagan, walked and singled in that order. So he is 1 for 3 today. Looks like he's going to leave Cam in and not worry too much about pitch count right now.
Runner at first. The Wildcats 1 out away from the region tournament. Cam's first pitch is a called strike at the knees. Farragut has dominated District 4 for a long, long time. They still have a chance to win a title, but they're going to have to do it the hard way if the Wildcats can get the final out here. Oh, boy. Pretty good pitch there. Might have been a little low and outside. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wildcats won the District 3 championship a year ago, trying to win District 4. Swings, and he misses. They're down to their final strike, James Branson. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 10-5. Camden Welch, the Oak Ridge crowd clapping in unison. Outside, ball 2. An 8-run second inning. The big inning, and has propelled the Wildcats to a big lead, and they've held it ever since. Ball hit foul. Dillon's ducking at Blankenship, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Do I pick on Dillon a little bit too much?
I would say about average for anybody that's been working for you for any time.
Well, I love Dillon. He is Mr. Technical. I mean, his brother Blake's okay, but Dillon's the guy.
Appreciate all the help he's provided this year for us as well.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Go sit down. We're headed to the region. The Wildcats have defeated the Farragut Admirals by a final score of 10-5. Joseph Webb, the winning pitcher, as Oak Ridge wins it, and they are headed to the championship ball game on Tuesday night to take on either Farragut, Bearden, Hardin Valley, or McMinn County, and they'll have to beat Oak Ridge twice as the Wildcats win it 10-5. We'll have a post-game show coming up. Oak Ridge headed to the region tournament, James Branson. Big win. They come over to Farragut, all those state championship banners, and the Wildcats do it here at Farragut. They win it 10-5.
4th season in a row, David, as you mentioned, that Oak Ridge will head to the region tournament. Started that run back with Tyler Pickens and Caden Black and that group of guys, and we'll play Tuesday. The winner will come out of the Monday games. Some of those games the participants in those games will be decided, obviously, by Bearden, McMinn County, and Hardin Valley that are all here right now.
Yeah, it'll be McMinn County and Hardin Valley playing here in a moment. 2 teams shaking hands. The Wildcats win it 10-5. As I'll run down some of the totals. I'll speak to Coach Free. He typically will send me a couple players. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't see Joseph Webb. I know Cam's not going to talk. I've tried to get Cam Welch to talk to me for 4 years. The guy just does his talking on the mound and bat and in the field. The Wildcats beat Farragut 10-5 is your final score. Some of the totals. First off, for the Wildcats. Wildcats, as we talked about this, in the first inning, it looked pretty scary. The Farragut pitcher, retired Warren East, Parker Free, and Mikey Teasley, 3 straight strikeouts, and things were looking like, wow, this guy's got his stuff going. But then the Wildcats in the second inning, it all started when Joseph Webb led off, grounded the ball to the shortstop, who appeared to have fielded it initially, bobbled it, and he reached base. Then walks to Carson Fagan, and a single by Jaden Cheverton loaded the bases, and then a bases-loaded walk to Cam Welch, and the Wildcats led 1-0. Whit Reniger then struck out. Then Brooks Poteet walked in a run. And the Wildcats led 2-0. And then Warren East, with the bases loaded, singled in 2. And then Parker Free walked. Then Mikey Teasley doubled in 2 runs. And after all of that, after a sacrifice fly by Joseph Webb that same inning, Oak Ridge had 8 on the board in the second inning to lead it 8-0 over the Farragut Admirals. Farragut then scored the next 5 runs, and you've got that book, James. And
yes, David, as Farragut was able to, in the 4th inning there, able to get several walks, including on those walks were Jake Harris, Aiden Flagg, and Nayland Williams. Eventually, Travis Brummett Jr. Struck out. After that, there was a line out to Brooks Poteet, and Farragut scored 1 run on that from the runner from third base, which would have been Jake Harris. Batting after Zane Qureshi-Smith had that line out was Mason Shelton. Shelton had a 3-run home run that brought everybody that was on base home. And Joe continued, responded with a strikeout in the next at bat to Cole Kreisman, and then continued to do well into the 5th and 6th inning as he struck out Caleb Van Lant, got Warren East to fly out, and then gave up a single to Jake Harris again. Eventually there was another walk in the 5th inning, and Nayland Williams singled to bring home Jake Harris. And that was all Farragut scored, and all their scoring was done in the 4th and 5th inning there as Cam Welch came in the 6th inning and 7th inning and shut down the Farragut offense.
Wildcats got a couple of insurance runs in the 5th on sacrifice flies by Parker Free and Mikey Teasley, and the Wildcats win the ball game by a final score of 10-5. We appreciate everybody. Stay tuned. We'll have more of our postgame show. Coach Free will typically send me some players to talk to, and I'll speak to the head coach of the Wildcats, the victorious Wildcats today. They are in the championship game, and I say this, championships are good, but more importantly, they've advanced to the region tournament. There are only 4 teams that'll be there, and if you win there, you move to the sectional round and then maybe to the state tournament. So Wildcats have achieved 1 goal there in the region tournament. We appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the Oak Ridge High School class. Are we talking to you, Brooks Poteet? Are we talking to you on the air? Here we go. Let's get Brooks over here. We'll let him hold his own mic. So, Brooks, just first off, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Talk about it. That second inning, 8 runs, and you had a booming double later on in the ballgame, which kind of got you some insurance. Talk about how important this win was.
This win was very important. I mean, that secured us a spot in the region. I mean, it was really big for us. I mean, we got out there, we did what we needed to do. I mean, they thought they were going to come in there and they were going to run all over us because we didn't see the guy that they threw yet. So, I mean, it was just a really big win. It was really good for us. It was really good for the team, really good for everybody.
Well, let's talk about you. I know you came over from Powell, who has had a really fine baseball program in the past years. How has it been to come to Oak Ridge and be a part of this group?
It's been great. I mean, I've never had this much fun playing baseball in my life. I love the group. I love my teammates. I love the coaches. I love the school. I mean, I feel like I'm at home.
When you hit the ball off the fence earlier, did you think it was going out?
I mean, a little bit. I was kind of looking there for a little bit, and I was like, maybe I need a run. So
you had a home run the other day, so, I mean, your power numbers, and you have really picked it up here late, and I guess that's the best time this time of year. You're in the region tournament. How important is that?
I mean, it's very important. I mean, I feel like I've been making some swing changes, trying to feel a little bit better in the box, and I feel like that's really paying off, and I feel like it's showing.
What kind of transitions from one school to another, the different coaching styles, what was the biggest issues for you kind of switching, or was there any?
There wasn't really any issues because, I mean, if you're a ball player, you're going to go out there and you're going to do your thing, and I feel like that's what I've done.
You get a chance to play on Tuesday in the championship game. Somebody's got to beat you twice to win the title, but you're in the region tournament. You got Farragut, Bearden, McMinn County, and Hardin Valley still left. Obviously, you probably don't care who you play. You're just happy to be there.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to get back to the state tournament?
I mean, it's going to take a lot, but, I mean, we have the team to do it. We have all the personnel to do it. I mean, we have the coaches to do it. We have everything to do it.
Can you do an imitation of Coach Free? Are you able to do that?
I mean, I'm not able to do that. That's more of a Warren thing.
Okay. Brooks, I appreciate it. Congratulations on the win, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's Brooks Poteet, and let's see if we got somebody else coming our way. My name is David Clary. I have a face for radio for sure, but let's see who we're going to get. Appreciate Brooks coming to talk to us. Looks like it might be Warren, and we'll get a chance to talk to Warren. Talked to him many times. Warren, I know you've been a part of this for the last 3 years now. Coming over to Farragut, you've beaten them twice on their home field. This one's a big one, though. I mean, you still haven't gotten to a title yet, but you're in the title ball game. How important was it to get that closely fought win last night over Bearden and come over here after a 7-15 batting practice to get a win tonight over Farragut?
Yeah, we yesterday after the game, Free was like, I'm going to let the seniors decide if we're going to wake up early and go hit BP at 7:15 in the morning. And they were like, yeah, we're going to do it. Keep the routine. So we did. At this point in the season, it's like we got to win. It's like no one cares what your batting average is. No one cares the errors you've made. Like regular season's over. Like it's postseason. Like it's win or go home now. So it's bigger than just yourself. Like it's the whole team. Really the whole city. Like all of Oak Ridge. Like we represent. So it's bigger than ourselves. So, like, winning last night was huge, and then coming out here and putting it to Farragut, especially in the past especially my freshman year. I know you remember that game.
I do.
Rough game. So, and then last year we beat them, but now that we're in their district, it's just huge that we come out here and, like, set the tone that, like, hey, Oak Ridge is here to, like, play.
I never mentioned the score of that freshman season game here over at Farragut. I never mentioned that, but talk about that second inning. I mean, it all started. I mean, in the first inning, you, Parker, and Mikey just went down swinging. And I'm thinking, oh God, this guy's got some stuff.
Yeah, he came out and he was like 80, 89 to 90, and we knew he could throw it. I guess it's just been a while since we've seen some velo like that. But he came out and he was humming it, and then he started throwing balls and started walking people, and then started missing his spots, and it showed. We put up 8 runs. I mean, he's leaving fastballs over the plate, hanging his curveballs.
I think one of the keys was, the leadoff guy was Joe. He hit a ball, a little easy grounder to the shortstop. Yeah. He boots it, and then he works from the stretch, and then he never really looked comfortable.
No, he really wasn't, and our whole lineup can steal a bag. I mean, Cheeto might be the only one that's, like, questionable.
Oh, boy.
Like, our whole lineup can steal a bag. So especially when you have someone on that's a plus runner, it's just like the pressure's on. And you have good hitters at the plate. We have 1 through 9 that bangs. So it's like you can't really pitch around any of us.
I thought, when it was 8-0, I thought, we're only in the second inning. We got a lot of baseball to be played. And Farragut, you look out at those state championships, they've got 4 in a row. Yeah. You knew they weren't going to go away. No. And, Joe was pitching well, but, these guys, they weren't going to crawl over, just roll over and die.
No, they're not a team that just rolls over. We've struggled on, like, pushing the gas. Like, we'll get up big time like that, and then we'll kind of coast. So that's something we're still, like, working on. But if we can eliminate that, then that's when, like, we'll start run-rolling teams. So
you play again on Tuesday, and somebody has to beat you twice, whether it be Farragut, Bearden, McMinn County, or Hardin Valley. It makes it tough. If you get to the losers bracket, you've got to play some ball games.
No
and you guys, you just were waiting for the team to play, and they've got to beat you twice.
Our whole pitching staff, there's no way a team's not beating us twice.
So you're in the region tournament. You've been there before. Just for the program, I know you've been in the state tournament. And I know you don't get nervous, but because you're a junior. But to get to the state tournament 3 years in a row, can this team do it?
Oh my gosh, can this team do it? This team could bring back the first ever state championship.
I hope you're right, Warren. I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for always coming over and talking to me.
Thank you.
That is Warren East. Let's see what we got here. Looks like we got Joe coming in here. Oh. Thank you very much.
I didn't make it out. I didn't know who to make it out.
Thank you. Joseph Webb, good to talk to you again. It's been 2 or 3 weeks or so, I guess, since you and I talked. Congratulations, you're the winning pitcher today. When you got up 8-0, I'm going to ask you as a pitcher. Let me start with that 8-run inning first. The first 3 guys in front of you, Warren, Parker, and Mikey, struck out. I mean, and that guy was throwing gas. I mean, it looked like, okay, we're going to have a pitcher's deal here. Yep. Then you come up in the second inning, hit a little soft ground to the shortstop. I thought he He boots it, and then the floodgates open. I
Yep.
mean, he worked from the stretch after that. He walked people. You as a team picked up a lot of clutch hits, some great at bats, some full counts, and working the strike zone and getting walks. And then you batted a couple times in that inning, and you were up 8-0. Talk about
Yes,
that
sir.
inning first off.
Yeah, that was definitely a huge inning. It helped us a lot, obviously, being up 8 runs. Shifted the momentum big time our way. So, yeah, just got to, we've been working hard. We've been waiting for the floodgates to open. And, right there, we just took advantage of it.
When you know you're going against a team, and whenever I look out in that outfield and I see all those state championships they have won 4 straight, which is crazy. You know, as a pitcher, you have got to be on your game because they're not going to go away. And as well as you were pitching, that's Farragut over there,